Yo, 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 yo.
We know the anthem.
Oh, hey, this respect.
Oh! What's poppin'?
We are the Dank Dads. What's up?
Come on, man.
It's Home Run Derby night here with the Dank Dads. And Home Run Derby's kind of fucking cool. They just go up there and try to hit the ball as far as they fucking can.
I kind of explained to people we weren't going to say fucking a whole bunch of times tonight.
Well, there's one.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
I was going to try to help you out.
No, thanks for the notice.
Fucking already.
No, that's a good note.
Kid show.
I was just about to say, they have kids in the outfield catching these balls that aren't home runs, which is something I've always wanted.
I'm a big-ass grown man. I couldn't catch one of them damn.
I know you can't. How are you with a bat in your hand?
You have to co-sign that. That was just what it is. I suck. I've never been good at baseball, but I've always admired it. Thank you for tuning in to the Dank Dads. We're the goddamn Dank Dads, man. Great turnout so far. Listen, we're just gonna talk some baseball. We got a couple of our close friends popping in right now. It's 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern. We have Nick Blue and Jamie D'Antoni coming in to talk some baseball, college baseball. You know, we fell out of Wake Forest fell out of the College World Series, unfortunately. Very close. We're gonna bring those guys in to talk about that. Nick can't wait to talk about that. He called me in the middle of the damn series and he was like, "Listen, you're not talking about Wake Forest enough. Okay, you're not talking about them. I'm gonna need for you to do your goddamn job." So here we are.
Hilarious.
We got a whole baseball show, baby, and we can't wait to get busy.
So
I don't usually drink Coors Light, but I'm gonna do this tonight, though.
You poured me one too. That's usually new. That's new on the show too.
What, the Coors Light?
Yeah.
Cheers. Bam. Here we are.
Thank you, man.
Wow.
We're live on Facebook, Rumble, YouTube. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe. So we got
definitely subscribe. Subscribe to the cast, please. Subscribe to the channel, please. We need you.
I'm gonna go ahead and put this window back up again, just so we can show the viewers a little bit. So we got the first matchup is Luis Roberts Jr. versus Rushman. Okay, and so they kind of go bracket style, right?
Right.
2 versus 2 all the way through.
Okay.
We got some heavy hitters in here. Pete Alonso is a 2-time champ.
Right.
Won 19 and
I'm a novice. I don't know much here.
So this All-Star game is in Seattle. Okay. And normally when there's wherever they're at, they usually bring a hometown guy to do the Derby, right?
Right.
So Rodriguez, who is the hometown guy, he's the 7th seed in this all out of 8 guys.
Okay.
He was a runner-up last year. He came in 2nd. Okay. It was close, but he finished 2nd. So he's big, heavy favorite on tonight. But I would say Pete Alonso, he's like plus 350 is the favorite to take this home again. Pete Alonso plus 350. Then we got Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Are we still able to put a bet on that sucker real quick?
You probably could, but
do you think he's going to win it? No?
I think that he has a good chance of winning it. He's not my pick to win it.
That doesn't help me with my bet, Jeffrey.
Well, I don't know, bro. They're all plus crazy numbers. I don't think so we got Mookie Betts. I don't think he's going to do it. I like Randy Rosarina for the Tampa Bay Rays. I think he might do it. Rushman, I'm an Orioles fan, so I'm kind of pulling for him. But shit, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a good home run derby this year.
We got some boys in the room. I'm ready to bring them in the room.
I don't know. We got a couple weird comments going on. I don't speak Spanish, nor do I read it, so I can't help you with that.
Hey, listen, my friend. We love you wherever you are. We love the Dank Dads. Love you, huh? All the way to Cuba, huh? We love you.
We got Mike Wilson. You know Mike Wilson?
You know Mike, man, please.
And he says Mookie for the wins. I'm going to have to hit him up. Sorry, bro. No, nothing against you. I'm just not a Dodger fan.
That's a big homie.
I apologize.
Sorry,
I hold down my front. It's nothing against you, bro.
You get a drum roll from me, brother.
Nothing against you, bro. I'm not a Dodger fan. So
all right, who else we got over there?
That's it. As far
David,
as who I know.
the David guy.
Yeah, no. Shout out to you, Mike Wilson. I appreciate you commenting, but yeah, fuck the Dodgers.
Yo, what's they say? Yo, what?
I don't know, bro. I can't read Spanish, so I'm not even gonna go ahead and try.
Hey, let's bring the boys in the room, man. Let's bring some boys in. Sorry, but
so we got a couple guests on tonight. We got about 5 different guests that all are going to bring different aspects here to this Dank Dads show. We got some old timers, we got some dads, we got some purists, all that. Okay. This first guest though is someone that is due for their flowers here on the Dank Dads.
Absolutely.
And that is Eric. What's up, Eric? How's it going, Eric?
How y'all doing?
What's up, Eric? About goddamn time we got you here on the Dank Dads, huh?
Yes. Love the show. Been a fan since when you
Day
guys
one,
were talking
bro.
about creating it.
Yes, sir. You saw it in fruition and all that. You saw it from the ground up, and we appreciate you. You've been A1 since day one with us over here. So shout out to you, Eric.
Thank you, brother. Hey, yo, subscribe to the Dank Dads Sportscast, man. We just got our baseball show, the Derby. I want to keep saying Kentucky Derby, but it's a home run derby.
Home run derby.
And
Yep,
thanks
yep,
for tuning in.
So Eric, I'm not gonna give our little Giants rivalry and Dodgers rivalry too much play. But how did you become a Dodger fan?
Well, the story I got growing up was my dad and uncles and aunt all grew up in Winnemucca. And my grandfather was the football coach, vice principal, athletic director there. So they had no TV, so they would go to their neighbor's house and watch the games. So my grandpa cuts the guy's stepson from the team for some issues. So he cut the whole family from coming over. So this was during the 55 World Series. So that's how my family became Dodger fans. Was they saw the Dodgers win the World Series. We had this saying, a blessing in my house growing up was, God is good, God is great. Don't let the Giants win the pennant.
Yeah, you scary asses. You got to pray on that shit.
Well, the Giants didn't win it for what, 50-something years?
Right. You're right.
And,
a long time.
Oh, and like here, I grew up Dodger fan. You know, you got into the movies in the 80s. We had great baseball movies. Bull Durham. Was it Major League, The Natural, and stuff like that. Field of Dreams, which I had been to that field in Iowa. I was like, those
fire.
baseball players come out, I'm fine. It's albino white children, I'm taking a run.
Hey, listen, ain't no goddamn black kids out there, I tell you that.
No.
Well, hell no. There wasn't no black kids out there, no damn Field of Dreams. Martin Luther King's ass wasn't even out there in Field of Dreams.
Eric, you've been around the goddamn globe.
Yes,
definitely the United States. What's the best ballpark you've been to?
No, Eric has been everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere, right?
Done all these stadiums. This is the guy. If you're out there and it's built, he's been in it.
Yes. So what's your favorite MLB park?
Oh God, I got something for you. As a little kid, the old Yankee Stadium. Went to a game there as a kid. My mom went dumpster diving for baseball cups from the old Yankee Stadium. That was a great.
Hold that up to the camera. Hold that up.
Hold it up to the camera.
There you go. That's from a dumpster outside of an old Yankee Stadium.
And your mama jumped in that dumpster, huh, Eric?
Give me a year on that.
Grabbing baseball cups to bring back as souvenirs for our friends and family.
Shit,
that was a memory.
Bro, same thing with my parents. For some reason, we collect baseball cups too. We got a shit ton of baseball cups.
Glasses from all the stadiums, pretty much.
What the hell made your mother want to get in that dumpster, Eric, and fish that out?
Souvenirs, she was taking me and my brother, our family friends to the game, and it was like you got to see Clemens pitch, Wade Boggs playing, Don Mattingly, the '80s when the Yankees Red Sox rivalry was going.
Shit.
So that you probably say that's probably one of your favorite stadiums is the old Yankee Stadium.
One of the favorite stadiums. Dodger Stadium is amazing. I miss the old Candlestick going down for football. and baseball.
Yeah,
games
Candlestick. That was a
On the
unique
water,
place
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
Unique place. Yeah, there was only
People with the boats out there.
only one way in and one way out of that
Yeah.
place.
Oh,
It
that
was
just
weird.
sounds like the Bay right there. Period.
But they won a lot. I mean, they won a lot of Super Bowls in that stadium with the Niners. Like that
Yeah.
stadium, and it's no longer standing. They still got signs for it. They
they
demolished
destroyed
that.
the whole thing, huh?
Yeah, they demolished it. Now it's like
Wow.
apartments and condos and stuff like that. But they still got the signs on the freeway, like Candlestick Drive and all that stuff.
That's cool.
Eric, how do you feel? I know that you're probably a little bit more of a baseball purist, but how do you feel about these new rules that they implemented this year?
I'm okay with the rules. It makes when you go to the games, you watch the game on TV, and it's like you only want to watch the 7th inning on because the games are so long. So I love, like the pitch count. I'm glad they got rid of the shift. I know some teams still do it, but like making the game go a little bit faster, half hour with the pitch count. And I loved seeing the Houston Astros lose to the Dodgers on that balk call. I had a lot of fairway Giants fan. I know you're a Giants fan. I got my best friend's a Giants fan and everything. And another person I work with, everybody else I know has been a Giants fan since like 2004 when they're winning. I went to Vince Scully's last game with two of my best friends, and I'm ready to fight people in the stands.
No, Eric, not you, man. Come on now.
Shit, that's what the Dodger fans are known for. They've been putting people in comas and shit. God,
yeah, I was like,
you had to go that far, motherfucker. Like, you ain't no Duncan in your stadium.
I want to see Vince Scully. We had a radio out there with us to listen to Vince Scully on the radio just because he had that.
So, I mean,
announcer.
being over here on the West Coast, when the West Coast teams are doing good, of course those hats come out like crazy, right?
Right.
But for me specifically, I mean, if I wasn't going, my dad and mom were definitely going to opening days for probably a good 15 years straight. My parents went to the first one in the new stadium. I mean, I've probably been to about 10 of them myself. And opening day in baseball is pretty big. Like, it's a big ceremony. So it definitely dives a little bit deeper than, that 2010 World Series run and whatnot. But I am very grateful that I got to see a dynasty in about 6 years. That was pretty tight. 3 championships in 6 years was
absolutely
off the chain, bro. So I'm grateful for that. Definitely grateful for that, because that was some of the most epic feelings. I mean, our next guest is my brother. We were together for one of these at a Flowing Tide here in town, just damn near crying in each other's arms, right? Just because it's so beautiful, bro. But I
love the way your voice changes. It so beautiful, bro. Oh, bro.
Dope, though, like,
yeah, okay.
But when you think about it, like, out of all the sports, right, baseball, football, there's some teams in football that haven't won a Super Bowl yet, right?
Right.
But the amount of years that they have been waiting does not amount to some of these baseball teams. Like the Cubs, it was like 110 years, bro? That you're going to be a fan of this team and not see nothing?
I've been to Wrigley Field. That is an amazing stadium. Walking out on the Ivy, I got to walk out on the field. It was an awesome event. But like you said, like the purist, like I don't like the designated hitter in the National League. Unless we get the guy from the Angels, then I'm okay with that. But I'm like,
I get that. I mean,
which one? The
Ohtani?
Please.
Dodgers are the number one.
That would be amazing.
But like, move far either.
No, you think that would happen, Eric? You think we could get that dude, man?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be
Dodgers
great.
are a front runner for every top guy.
Wow.
Because they got the money to spend always, and they will spend it.
You got the great rules. Like, look at the '88 World Series. You had Kirk Gibson come up. You're thinking Mudville 9. He hits a 3-2 backdoor slider off of Eckersley. It's, amazing events. I like the 7th inning stretch. Take me out to the ballpark.
Yeah.
These nuts, which I love. No, Marcus loves these nuts. And Cracker Jacks.
Did you?
Oh, I got props, baby. I brought him in.
Well fucking done, Eric. Well fucking done. Give me real quick. Give me your top 5 all time. Or you can, when I answer this question, I usually say I usually incorporate favorite of all time, right? Not necessarily the best ever, because that's so goddamn subjective. But what's your favorite 5 all time, Eric?
Favorite 5 that I grew up watching, Wade Boggs. Love to hear the stories about him.
Now, is this in any order? Or are you going 5 to 1?
I'm just going in any order.
Okay, well, I need your number 1 at least. Separate the number 1.
Okay.
All right, so you got Wade Boggs. Go ahead.
Ryan Sandberg.
Okay.
I mean, grew up WGN. You get the TBS, WGN. So you got the Braves on. You got them playing the Cubs, stuff like that. Clayton Kershaw, followed him the last 20-something since he was a high schooler.
Right.
Steve Sachs, Dodger fan. He had a place in Tahoe. I got 2 of his signed baseballs when he hit 200 in a season. And I guess I would say Jeter, because he's a Michigan man. Big Michigan fan. Jeter's from Michigan. He was going to go there. Yankees signed him. I got entire Michigan stuff in my office, signed by former players, Desmond Howard, John Madden,
that's cool.
the Steiners.
Jeter, huh? I like that.
He was just a
would
class act.
Would you say Kershaw is better than Sandy Koufax?
Ooh. I got to go just right below Koufax.
Oh, really? Just because? Why?
Just because the way Koufax did it. I mean, Kershaw's in my top of like pitchers. There's like Nolan Ryan. I mean, we're never going to see anybody break Nolan Ryan's record because he started at 18 years old in the leagues. But I know, like Satchel Paige, that's someone I would have loved to see pitch in a modern era.
See, and I that's why I kind of put with that whole modern era. That's why I kind of put Kershaw a little bit ahead of that because he's facing Mike Trouts and a crazy athlete that is just not what Sandy was facing at that time. But I mean, I don't want to discredit him by any means because that dude is one of the greatest ever. But
I
Kershaw, man, that's
sports history up at UNR. Some people never even hit it out of some of the stadiums, and they were, closer than some of them are today, and some were further back. I think one year for the Pirates, only 6 home runs were hit out of the stadium, and it was like another 10, 20 feet back.
Oh, damn. Wow.
Just because some of the pitchers. But the rules have changed over the years.
Yeah, the game's continuously evolving. I would say that that's probably the same with every single major sport, but I'm not exactly sure where they're at in the round, but Rosarena's got 22, looks like 23, 24 now. Damn, he did a decent amount. Did you see everybody that was in this contest, Eric?
Yes, I did.
Did you have a favorite?
I would love to see Mookie win it, but I got to go with the guy from Tampa Bay or the Sox.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. How many, real quick before we let you go, how many stadiums have you been to?
Oh God, I mean, depending on the sport, I've probably been.
No, we're talking baseball, just baseball.
Say about a dozen or so. I will tell you, if you're in Wrigley, if someone says to watch your car for $10, you pay that person $10. Otherwise, you ain't gonna come out. You're gonna come out, and there are gonna be no tires.
Oh shit! So it's worth it. Okay, that's the extra parking pass.
You stay in the bar until your Uber or taxi shows up. That's how dangerous it is in Chicago.
Damn, in Wrigley, huh? That's fucked up. Would you say that the White Sox is worse?
No, I love the White Sox stadium because I went and saw 2 games. I saw White Sox versus the Cubs in Wrigley, and then next day saw them in Chicago, and Harbaugh throughout the pitches throughout the first pitch for the ones in the Cubs stadium, and it was like that is a more dangerous area than Kaminsky.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, shit, Eric, I appreciate you, buddy, for hopping in on here. We're definitely gonna
on the show.
Have you back shortly.
Oh yeah, brother. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Eric. Thanks. Shit. Well, we got Garcia up right now. He's got to beat 24 to pass Rosarena. I'm gonna say he doesn't do it, but go from there.
Y'all can say hi.
Hi. Hey.
Oh, what's up, Jada?
Look at my baby boy.
What's going on, little guy?
Little baby boy.
Young
This we do Dank Dads shit all the time. You heard me.
Young Dank Dads in the flesh.
You understand? He got a whole mob of children over there. Look at that.
All look like them.
Testicles are working just fine, sir. Your testicles are working just fine.
I love the hair on the. On the
Let me
one on the
tell
right
you
side.
what, man. Anytime you have that many boys, you know it's working out just right for you. All right, hey brother. Okay,
What's up?
that's your daddy eyebrow. That's your daddy eyebrow right there.
Tell your dad to sign you up for baseball.
That's what you tell him. Yeah, that's your
First
daddy
base,
eyebrow.
first baseman right there. First baseman.
Oh, first baseman.
Yeah.
That one front left gonna play middle linebacker. I can see it in his eyes.
Yeah,
that's all you got to say. That's all you got to say when you hit somebody. Huh? That's all you got to say, player. I like that. Huh? Yeah. Your uncle teach you how to come downhill. Don't worry about that, baby boy. I got you.
Trust me, he was born with that knowledge.
No doubt. I know his daddy is. You ain't have to vouch for the backside from out of the shadows, cuz. I got you.
Hilarious. We are the Dank Dads. We are live on YouTube, Facebook.
Tell him, boy.
I'm going to put this.
Tell him.
In about 30, 40 minutes, we're going to have two Wake Forest legends on here.
Wake Forest legends, man.
I'll be back.
Hall of Fame inductees of Wake Forest. We got
Come on, man.
straight ballers coming on here, so tune in, all right?
Tune in shortly.
So the next guest we've had on before. This is his second appearance here on the Dank Dads.
Okay.
The first one was way back when we were back there. I think maybe I don't even remember. It was way back, like a long fucking time ago, right? We need to welcome my brother.
Handsome Rob in the building.
I'm hoping we can show him how far we've come.
Hey, listen, I want to know who has handsome. I want Handsome Rob to tell us how far we've come. That's what I want to know.
That's what I'm looking for.
Handsome, what do you think?
You guys are on Rumble. You're doing it right. You got to get on Twitter. You guys are kicking ass. Number one sportscast in Nevada, I heard, or Reno at least.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Let's go. You got some swag. You guys are selling like socks and fucking sweatshirts and shit. You got to get going.
All that shit.
Everything, yeah. Check out the Dank Dads merch.
Yes. All right, listen. I remember when we had your brother on. It was early in the morning. I had just met your brother not too long before that. And it was just amazing. That show we did was just amazing, man.
That was a good one. Never forget. Fun.
It was fun. It was early in the morning, but we were so pumped up to have your brother on, man. It was just incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just thankful for how far we've come. Listen, we've come so far, this motherfucker shaved his beard. Okay, that's how I know how far we came. Okay, he had a beard down the head. Now he's like,
that's right. No, you guys are kicking ass. You got to keep it going. Keep on sharing. Absolutely. Keep on hitting the like button, doing all that stuff. And you guys will
subscribe, please. Yes.
You got to get me on one of them private jets, Vegas.
Oh shit, we will be there.
Trust me, very soon.
I saw you on one of those the other day.
Absolutely, you're gonna see many more flights. Trust me.
Hell yeah.
So, my knowledge and I guess love for the game of baseball was definitely followed by my brother's footsteps. Right? He's 6 years older than me. My dad got him into baseball. Obviously, he was 6 years old. I'm not born yet, or close to it. Right? And when you have an older brother or an older sibling, you definitely want to follow in their footsteps. And especially at the time that kind of the age we had, 6 years, right? Like at 18, I was 12. You know, I was trying to do everything that he was fucking doing.
That's a big difference. Damn, all right.
So, but baseball is one thing that we always had consistent, probably throughout our entire lives. Right?
Oh yeah, mine's still going. I haven't stopped. I mean, it's old man softball now, but I'm playing until I'm 75, man.
Right, and you know, and I got my kids in it and doing shit like that, so I'm trying to keep it going as well. But I mean, he little baller out there in Little League and just shutting down the field, and just, you know, he could tell you a little bit more. What you got called up, right, to like a higher level?
Yeah, I was 10 years old, and I was about 4'5", about 65 pounds. Swear to God, maybe a little bit more than that. And I was playing farm. Farm was where they had the pitching machines. And then there was Maine, where they had live pitching. And one of Dad's assistant coaches ended up going to the Maine. He gave me a call. The coach called me. He's like, "Hey, son, you want to come up to the big leagues?" And the next day I was up there playing with 12-year-olds. It's like a 9-year-old. That's pretty much where my baseball
Little League, yeah,
pinnacle was.
Yeah. So Our dad, I would
That was
say,
the pinnacle of my baseball career. It went down the other. Our dad.
Would you
was
say
the
you're
winnest-
better?
win-
Would
win-
you say you're better? Would you say you're better now as in softball than you were at Little League?
There's no question. I mean, it's different. I couldn't hit. Dad never taught us how to hit. I knew how to play
that's true.
defense
It's
like
just
a
defense.
vacuum.
That's it.
Dad
That's what
we were
fucked
just
me
little
over,
dirt
too.
dogs. He taught me how to be a
Baseball.
little dirt dog, and that was it. So when I got to McQueen,
defense.
when I got to McQueen, I couldn't hit, but I could play defense. So I made the team every time. I couldn't hit for shit. But, once after high school, if you can't hit, you ain't going nowhere.
Does defense win championships in baseball like football?
No.
Pitching does. Pitching more than anything than pitching and hitting, not necessarily defense. You can make up for bad defense with your hitting and pitching. If you have shitty pitching, no. If you have terrible hitting, no. But defense is everyone out there is pretty fucking good. So the defense is not as crazy, I would
I was
say.
terrible all the way around.
So
Misses.
But
Back to
our
dad.
dad though, our dad was I would say the most gangster coach as far as Little League is concerned. One, our dad does not give a fuck when it comes to his filter and telling people off, whatever. Stay in his stance, right? Well, when you're coaching little kids, it does not necessarily always rub the people the right way when you come off that way. But he backed it up with what he put on the field. When we were in T-ball is like herding cats, right? Like it's just kids everywhere picking flowers, this and that, right? Before we hit the field, we'd all have our hands in there and be like, Orioles on 3, super loud, right? And every single one of us would sprint to our position. The other T-ball coach would be like, fuck, I got this kid picking his nose. We got this kid handing his pants.
Oh, it was serious out there, huh?
So he backed it up. So they tolerated him because he's just good at that. But kicked out of games, police called, shit like that, dude.
Salute the bar.
yeah, but there's a big reason for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dad is arguably the winningest Reno American Little League baseball coach in the history of Reno American Little League.
Without a fucking doubt.
From T-ball till Maine,
doubt.
he had practices in his backyard, and I'll tell you right now, every single player that played for Dad, their parents and that kid still love that man with all their heart. The reason that he got all the hate and he had to do all that shit is because he was a gangster winner. He would beat everyone's ass, and everybody hated it, and they came hating on him.
Thanks to win, I love that.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what it is. There's dudes today that are 40 years old, my brother's age, that see my dad at Rayleigh's or whatever and know exactly who he is and can't wait to go up and say hi to his ass.
I love that.
Little League, 1 year Little League, bro.
Salute to the Don.
Dad did it the way that everybody else wished they did it.
Yeah, no, facts. And to just drive it home a little bit more, he got kicked out of Reno they voted him out. You cannot coach here no more. You cause too much problems. You win too much, yada, 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 right?
Are you serious?
So they exiled him off of the shit, right? He leaves for a long time, and then we have our sister born, my sister's 10 years younger than me, which makes 16 years younger than Robert. So my dad's like, all right, let's get her to play some T-ball. Let's see what I can do. Had to fight to finally get voted back in to be able to coach. And they're like, yeah, I go, okay, we'll give you a T-ball league or T-ball team. Most times T-ball, they're fighting for coaches anyways, right? Like there's not a lot of coaches. But like, okay, fine, you can do it. You can have it. I coached with them for a little bit with that team. I was 10, 11 years old, just helping them out, right? And now this is where it drove it home for me is when they do all-stars for like 9, 10s, 11, 12, they take coaches from those same divisions as the all-star coach, right? So like the 11 and 12, that whole team, they're taking a coach from that team to coach the all-star.
Okay.
He got a 9, 10 or so, I don't know the exact year, but he got an all-star team as a T-ball coach. Because all the other people in there, all the other coaches, the OGs were like, no, we need to give this guy it. This is him. And he got to coach a fucking all-star team. My sister was 5, 6 years old and had nothing to do with the all-star. Yeah, it's dope. It was a hell of a time.
Those Italian guys, man. Those Italian guys and their spicy meatballs, huh? They're taking no fucking jokes off of you. I'm not playing no games,
And in our spare time, we were in our Noni's backyard, our pasture, playing stickball as much as we possibly fucking could.
Salute, man.
Yeah, it's just...
I'm just getting the history of this shit. I'm not a big baseball guy, but I'm getting into it. Goddamn, I'm drinking Coors Light and I don't drink beer. You never see me drink beer.
No,
before.
never. I've never. That's
never
weird.
seen me drink beer. I feel it's an American thing to do
that's
for baseball. Let's do it.
that's fashionable for a baseball podcast. You drink some beer, have some
Okay,
peanuts,
cool.
eat a hot dog.
Cool. Thanks, brother. Thank you.
That's exactly what it is. But so you're actively playing softball right now, right? And tell me how different the game of softball is compared to baseball, like as far as slow pitch.
I mean, they're so it's almost identical, but it's completely opposite. Like obviously the hitting is completely different.
That's a perfect way of putting it. It's exactly the same, but exactly different or completely different. That's a fucking perfect way of putting it.
As far as me, when I go out there and play second or short or third base, it's exactly the same as baseball. You go out there, you hustle, you make plays. The rules and all that are no different playing defense. It's just a way for old guys like me at 40 and grandpa at 75 to be able to continue to play the game we love and not fucking kill ourselves. Even though sometimes as hard as I play, it seems like I'm gonna, but it's just a way to keep getting out there, getting dirty and still having your finger a little bit on the pulse of some kind of baseball.
Yeah, and I mean, the older you get to, you want to stay active, and it's not necessarily like a heart pumping workout, but it can be something out there.
If you play like I do,
depends on how the game's going, really. But
if you play like I do, you're fucking sweating. I fucking hustle in my position every time.
It's also a good time. It's also a fun time when you do it with all your buddies too, and you got beer and doing all that extra shit, and you get fun jerseys, and you think it's a good time out there all the time.
You hella competitive out there, huh?
Oh yeah.
I'm extremely competitive. Yeah, I
ain't even gotta ask that fucking question.
But I'm not asshole competitive. I used to be asshole competitive, but now I just am competitive for myself.
I don't know if I believe you were handsome.
That's fine.
That's one of the things I hated, like not necessarily with my brother,
you're
but just in
general.
You're
half right.
With city, with city league softball, and I'm not saying with Robert, but just in general, I've seen it out there in tournaments and whatnot. So we're like, God damn, we're about to go fight these guys in the fucking parking lot. I got work in the morning. I'm 26 years old, bro.
Yeah.
I don't really give a fuck that much, bro. I played catcher all goddamn game. I don't really fucking care, bro. Like, God damn it. Like, that's the one shit that's fucking annoying me. The motherfuckers just take that shit way too serious. But
yeah, and I've been one of those assholes. But there's a lot of drinking in softball too, and I think that's a lot to do with it. It's not.
Of course, that's. Yeah, competitive drinking is what it comes down to.
A bunch of knuckleheads trying to hold on to what they've had, and I've been guilty of that before. There's no question. But the older you get, the way that I'm looking at it now is I just want to get out there because me moving across the country, I had to meet some new guys to get on a team. So I'm making new friends and getting out there and just staying active and as long as I can, just like Grandpa did.
Yeah, no, that's it. So I wanted to tell you, our grandfather, right, is like another OG of softball, been playing for, 60 years, I guess. He's 80-something years old. He quit playing a couple years ago, probably been 75, 78, somewhere in there. He's got 3 senior World Series championship rings where he's gone to Arizona and Florida at 70 years old, 75 years old, going and winning World Series rings. They're diamond out. Shit, they're not.
Absolutely.
And he, pulls up in his Cadillac or whatever the fuck he's driving. That's fly.
Corvette.
Yeah, the Corvette or the Chrysler. You got the Chrysler's hella nice.
Living his best life, man.
Dude, and they just travel. They come out to Reno all the time and play. I mean, he's had some health issues, so he stopped playing. But he'll come out and
OG's still around.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just talked to him today. Shout out to Grandpa.
Hell yeah.
That's Robert original, right? That's number
Robert,
one.
That's Robert number one.
And then Dad and then Robert here. But I mean,
I'll tell you right now. Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I can only hope and pray that I could be that active at 75 years.
Shit.
And that's all. That's
it ain't about hoping and praying, brother. It's about doing it. You got to start taking fish oil and eating avocados right now.
That's a good point. There's a little bit of luck involved, but yeah, you're right. I got to make right steps.
He has a great point right now.
You got to make steps.
You've got genetics, but that's what I do every day. I'm growing my own food, taking the fucking vitamins so I can play softball till I'm 75 or whatever the fuck I'm going to do. I want to be able to do something.
And they changed that game a lot for the old guys. Like,
they
have a whole separate first base. Like, there'll be a first base for the defenseman and a first base for the runner, and you don't have to like cross paths, all that crazy. Coming home, you just have to cross a white line. You don't have to make it all the way to
What?
home. They don't want these guys getting fucked off, bro.
Hey,
Like,
okay.
you know,
No.
they got to be smart about it, but they still want to play.
Jeez.
But this shit
I mean,
is
they're out
they
there.
got the
They're out
wives
there
out there with
shuffling around.
shirts, all that.
They're out there shuffling around. They got all their wives with them. They show up in all their badass nice cars, and they fucking hang out in Reno. They go gambling. They play a softball tournament. They got the life.
I
man.
love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of
I
fun.
love it.
It's a lot of fun.
So,
Real quick, Robert, who would you say your favorite all-time player is?
Will Clark.
And
Will
why
the
is
Thrill
that?
Clark.
Number 22 himself.
Number 22, first baseman for the Giants in the 80s, early 90s. He just had swag, man. He was rough, tough. He was like a country boy.
What was his nickname?
Will the Thrill.
Will the Thrill. And he had his swag. Yeah.
And he had swag.
He
was like an OG cowboy first baseman white boy that had swag back in the day.
Yeah.
And I loved him. I loved all those Giants in the late 80s, early 90s. Those were, if you were to ask me my top 5, it would be that whole the starting 9 for the Giants defensively. That's my favorite team, like 1989, 1990.
And before we let you go, can you tell Marcus over here your Barry Bonds story? Just it's nothing crazy, but just how you asking that motherfucker for an autograph.
Which one? Yeah, I mean I've got a bunch of them. He's a fucking asshole.
Go ahead.
I love him. I was down. I don't remember when it was. It was before he hit 61 and 62 when I saw him. But I was down there, front row, like probably 13 years old. Hey Barry, will you sign my ball? Will you sign my ball? He turns around. He goes, nope, and flips me off. I'm like, you motherfucker. And like I was like,
14 years old, bro.
Yeah, he's like, no, and he flipped me off. Yeah. But he was a punk. He was always known to be a punk to everybody. He wasn't nice to anybody. But he was the best baseball player of all time. So so when you're that guy,
that is fucked up, Barry.
Yes, Barry.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a punk. But I saw some special moments from him, and he was one of the best baseball players to ever live. Even though he's an asshole.
Yeah, I mean he's the main reason I love baseball really to this day, but. All right, brother. I appreciate you hopping on, man.
Brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll have to have you on real soon again.
Love you guys. Keep it up. Keep grinding hard. You're going to be there. It's fucking awesome. You're already kicking ass, so keep it rolling. I'm going to buy some
Love you too, brother. Thanks for supporting us always, man.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Peace, brothers.
Hey, stack number 9. Let me see if I can get that undertow music for me, Stack.
Andy Rushman with 27.
He's stacking off that in there for me.
I mean, he's in there, so he hears.
All right, cool.
Well, we are the Dank Dads. This is a home run derby. We haven't really talked too much about the home run derby. Fuck it. It's just baseball talk, kicking it, vibing it.
Yeah, I want the same one from boxing, bro.
Rushman is I think the 8th seed in this. He's going off against the number 1 seed right now, who only has 2 home runs in his first 30 seconds. That's not that good. How are you going to be the number 1 seed and not show out like that? Hey, I want to tell you, Marcus, when you come back over here, for this home run derby stuff, a lot of players don't like to do it.
Let's do it.
A lot of players don't like this home run derby.
Ain't the extra check?
Huh?
Ain't this the extra check?
If you win it.
Oh, sure, okay.
If you win it, well, they probably might get something if they make it.
Sure.
But if you win it, you get something. But a lot of players don't like it because it fucks their swing up. So they're going from 90, 99 miles per hour, curveball sliders, all this and that. They're timing to this little fucking
Lob.
Yeah, and it fucks their shit off. And the next time they come out after this week, they're just doing nothing but striking out.
They got a slump about 2 weeks straight.
So a lot of guys don't like to go out and do it. It's almost like the LeBron James with the slam dunk contest.
Oh.
Sometimes, I would say they do a good job with putting stars in there, but a lot of guys kind of shy away from it because it's tough. Like
I wouldn't be able to hit that shit right there. Look.
Yeah, that's probably 60. That's might be 50 miles an hour.
He's whipping that motherfucker. He's not playing.
And they try to make it cool, like that could be his dad pitching to him. And they try to build the storyline up a little bit, which is cool. That's dope. Dad's been throwing bottle caps at him since he's 8 years old, yada, 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 right? But I know that Jamie, with the broomstick.
Oh, sure.
I know that Jamie later on, our guest, will kind of tell us on how he said he flew in from the Futures game to Louisville to go in the home run derby. Like, that's a lot of moving around, changing your swing up, and he's going to touch on that later. But a lot of people don't like to do it, and that's
I can't
pretty crazy. So now our next guest is a definition of a dad, right?
Right.
He's a dad through and through. He is kids first. He's always doing something with his kids. Every time I talk to this guy, he's at a practice. He's at an art event for his daughter. He's at this or that. He's just on the move all the time. It's my boy. We've been friends for probably, I don't know, probably like 13 years now.
Shit.
In a minute, 12 years maybe. 12 years. He's one that put me on in my position now. I mean, if it wasn't for this guy, I'd be in a different position. And I look up to this dude a lot. Like, he has a lot of good advice throughout the years, and just how he moves on a daily, is something that I aspire to be, right? So our next guest is Thomas. What up, bro? You got the braids in?
What's up, guys? What you doing?
What's up?
What you doing?
Look, and he's got the barbecue going in the back. That is a Thomas move right there.
I figure what more dad move than have the barbecue in the background, man. I got it.
Bro, he stays cooking.
Nah. Hold on. That's not what it is. That's not what it is. Listen to me. Thomas and I have a low key, like a subliminal food war between Thomas and I. Okay.
For real?
And this is Thomas's. You didn't? Okay.
Hey, that means you're winning, bro.
Listen, let me tell you. Back during COVID, I used to make food, right? Food, and then Thomas would lay his food out. I'm like, God. And then Thomas would throw something else out there. Thomas came to play. So during COVID, we were kind of going back and forth with a couple of dishes, and he stayed on that grill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
and so shit. Yeah, I feel like it's a little sub shot at me to say, "Are you on your grill?" Because I ain't broke my grill out yet, Thomas.
He's bringing the heat.
No,
he's bringing the heat.
Definitely not a shot at you, man. Matter of fact, you pumped me all up, and all I got is some hot dogs and some asparagus on it.
Hey, the American way, the baseball way.
I got the same thing going on here, bro. Don't worry about it. It's coming.
The baseball way.
I love the braids. I love the two braids. West Coast. I love that,
that's
man.
Fire, Thomas. That's fire.
It's been really long. It's nice to get it off my neck. Man, it gets too hot sometimes, so I got to have my wife get it out of the way for a minute. Take a little break.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put up this clip right here of your boy Silas. Okay, you can kind of narrate it a little bit for us. Hold on here. Let's get up to load. So just give me a little bit of background. So this is this year, you said, right?
Yeah, this is this year. So Silas has been playing for a while now. He just turned 14 in April, and this is the high school summer league. So he's not technically in high school yet, but he's going against a bunch of high schoolers. And some of these kids, you got some seniors on there that already graduated. So for me, we were a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, man, he's going to see the ball coming in a lot faster. We're going to kind of see what he's made of and kind of see what he does. But this was his very first at bat on the summer high school league.
So I love his patience because he takes the first pitch, and it's questionable. Like, they give him a strike, but it looked like it could have been a little bit outside, whatever. But he's feeling it out.
Right.
Is this you that's hyping him up after this hit?
That's actually my son Samuel. Sam's actually in the video.
Okay, sick. So,
yeah.
The whole family there is tight. I'm gonna run this here.
You know where I said now.
He gave him an aggressive strike too. I didn't like that. But he obviously saw it enough.
That's a good take.
Oh yeah! Hey!
And it's a stand-up easy double, right?
Yeah, it's a double. Nice little double,
Bro, easy double for sure.
Yeah, easy double, Yeah, that was it right there. So
he sees it well. He crushes it to left field.
Oh yeah!
You hear that metal on that ball.
Yeah. Here's Samuel going crazy. Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's tight. And every time I call you lately, I mean, especially the last year or two. I mean, it's been constant like this all the time. But I would say over the last year or two, you've definitely really been on the go with this whole sports thing.
Oh man, nonstop, no doubt. It's been crazy. I mean, my oldest two, they're pretty much done with sports now. So it's like Silas is the last one left. So we're just trying to, absorb it all while we can, man, because it's a true blessing to be able to see your kids play. And I was never a baseball fan as a kid, so I didn't become a fan until my kids started playing, and they kind of made me a fan of it. So no, it's awesome. It's really cool, and to see the progression, because with Silas, man, that kid couldn't hit anything, man. In the beginning, when he first started playing, that kid sucked. So it was cool being able to see him go from not knowing anything about anything, and then being able to actually know the game pretty well. And his team, he made All-Stars this year. They just won. His rec ball team won the whole thing, and then he made All-Stars. All-Stars won the whole thing, so they're state champs. They're going to go down to Woodland, California, and go play in 2 weeks. So they're going to be able to see some for real ballers. So that ought to be interesting. But,
so do you know who their first matchup is against?
I don't know yet. No, the teams there's 4 California teams: California, Guam, 2 Utah teams, and I think an Arizona team. So,
they're the only team representing Nevada, huh?
Yeah, they're the only Nevada team. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's cool. It's going to be a good experience for them, I think. So,
and I'm guessing the whole entire tournament's in California. Nothing's in Nevada, huh?
Correct. Yeah, man. Everything's in California. So, but it'll be, like I said, it'll be a good experience for him to be able to see some real talent, and be able to play against some for real talent. So, it'll be good.
Yeah, no, for sure. What do you think that all this sports and the go and just in and out of different teams and in different leagues and different sports, what do you think that's teaching these kids?
Man, sports teaches kids a lot of things, man. Teaches you patience, teaches you how to work as a team, teaches you how to swallow your pride. I'm actually really thankful because his coach now, who's actually been a good friend of ours, he coached my oldest also. He benched Silas. He put him on his EH. So he made him basically, he didn't really bench him. He still hit and he was able to pitch. But, he made him swallow his pride a little bit because he was getting a little cocky and he was getting, barking a little bit at the teammates and things. And, but it was nice to be able to, get some humility in them too. Because you want your kids to have confidence, but you also want them to be humble, So I think it was good for him. It didn't last too long. You put him in the next game and he was able to play the positions that he wanted to play. Because, but it's good, man. It's good. It teaches you how to like I said, be humble, work as a team. It teaches you, look, you might not be good at this right now, but keep working at it. When you keep working, like anything, Marcus knows, man, working out, anything, man, you're going to start somewhere, and then it's cool to be able to see the progression, as the kids get older, and you're like, man, I remember when you sucked, man, and look at you now, you're actually man. So yeah, no, it's just really cool, man. It's really, really cool to see it, man. It teaches all kinds of things. Sports is amazing, man. It kept me out of trouble when I was a kid. I played football, so it was really good, man. It definitely is like I said, teamwork, everything, man. Nothing but good things about sports. So,
well,
go ahead.
I have to give you your flowers, bro, because I follow you as well, and I see you with your family. But when I say this man right here has a level of respect that you could never imagine for you, bro. This guy truly has a level of fucking respect that you would never believe.
As a brother, bro.
Absolutely, dog. And I just want to say, man, listen, man, you are definitely a cool ass dude, innovative guy, man. And you're welcome here anytime on the Dank Dads, and you know it, bro.
Appreciate you guys, man. You guys are awesome, man. And congratulations on you guys, man. You guys are just, I remember this was just a dream, man. So it's cool being able to see the progression with this too, man. You guys are amazing. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep grinding.
Just manifesting all of that. And hey, if you stick around and continue to watch the rest of the show, we're going to have these pro athletes on here, and we're going to ask them, what does it take for a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid to take it to the next level?
Even if you're one that someone wants to ask some questions and pop in,
and hopefully Silas,
whatever,
can hear something of this, and
he can pop in and ask a question if he wants. So just let me know.
He's at football practice right now, but I'll definitely let him know. But but
even in the comments, you don't have to hop on and ask it, but just in the comments, whatever it might be. So then we're gonna ask these guys, and these guys really been about it and have been there, and they know what it takes.
Doubt.
So.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure. No, that's man. Anytime you can pick greatness brains, that's a good opportunity for sure.
Without a doubt, bro. I appreciate you, Thomas, for hopping on here, buddy.
All right, guys.
Thank you, bro.
Take it easy, man. All right, thanks for having me.
Later, bro.
Stack in there?
Stack's here somewhere, and so is Jason. They're all in here chilling.
Tell Stack, can he get in there and give me that music?
Stack, we need that music player.
Please. Can't call on my phone.
No, we cannot call him. We can call him from my phone.
Time is it?
It is 5:59.
Woo!
It is 5:59. We are the Dank Dads. You can catch us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, all the fucking above. Sorry, there's another F-bomb, but
Nope, there it is.
my
We've
last
been
one.
drinking. We've been drinking. We've been drinking.
It's hard for me not to, talk how I want to on my own show. Oh no, he's on the screen.
Can you hear it? Can you hear the music?
Now we can.
Okay.
I can hear it. Yeah, it's
Is
on
it
there.
too loud, or you want to go down a little lower? Pause.
Hold on. Take me up one little tick. Right there is perfect. That's
there.
perfect. Yep, thank you. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
What the hell is that noise? That's Stack.
Yeah. All right. So let me quick update here.
Listen, it's going down on this bitch. I got my boys in the building. Yes, let's go, boys. What's the numbers?
So we got Randy Rosarina beat out Garcia 24-17. Damn, Luis Robert Jr. beat out Rushman by 28-27. Next matchup is Mookie Betts versus Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That's about to pop off right there. There he is, Vlad Jr. His dad is an old vet in the league, that's Hall of Fame. They both play for the same teams. Well, Expos, I guess. I mean, but
mind if I stand for a second? Because I know you hate it when I stand.
I know, I'm good. You can stand. I'm going to go ahead and use the bathroom break real quick before we get our next guest on here.
Are they in the queue yet?
We got one of them in the queue.
Who's that?
Jamie.
Oh, Jamie, hold tight, brother. He's gonna take a quick.
Go ahead and refill your refreshments. Anybody out there watching?
Let's put that bracket up while we wait for a second.
All right.
2 seconds. Can they hear me?
What's going on, brother?
It's not even in the all-star coaching staff. Usually they take not only the Astro coaches, but also a few others.
I wanted to make it here.
Coaching running through this. There's a high drive to left field, and that one gets to the second deck. So 3 on the board for Vlad to start.
Yeah! Is that okay?
I really like Vladdy. Vlad is hitting a lot of these balls up in the air. He's more of a line drive type guy like that one right there. He's too high right now. He's trying to force it up in the air. It's not his pace. He needs to be hit on the air and once.
Oh. You get a fan for it?
Now starting to take off. So rockets from Mount Rainier. Wait a minute. Halfway up second deck. John. Right there. Everybody when they call time 11 is the highest number. We're going to take a quick timeout.
Be right back.
Shout out to Bob. What's going on, man? Gotta make sure we shout out. Shout out to Mike Wilson. Yes, indeed. Junior Brito. What's up, my man? Appreciate y'all. Please like, share, subscribe. David Garcia, what's going on, brother? Martin Alberto.
This was just glad for Mookie Betts, guys. So glad he does have an extra minute. I believe more than Mookie. Uh-oh. That was well over 440. Deep one again. That Vlad sitting there at 15 homers. Our numbers haven't really been there this year when you think about what he's capable of. As that one gets over in left field. Come in here with a game plan other than I'm going to hit homers.
They actually saying, man, that this is a good sign for Betts. They saying, and Bob Peterson is saying that Mookie Betts has a pretty good chance, especially with Guerrero only with 15 right now.
Yo, yo, yo! Let's get him!
We got a special treat for them now, don't we?
Yeah. Where's Bluey? Bluey around?
Yep, they're both in here.
Shut up!
I don't see visuals on them, but they're both in the room.
Oh, God, I got this. Thank you, Lord, for your many blessings.
We are the Dank Dads. You can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Rumble. We go live all the damn time. We got a boxing show. We got a baseball show. We got our Friday nights with the dads. We got a football season coming on up. We got a car show. We got the Wing Fest. We got our Fight Pass. God, I could keep going all day because we're Swiss Army knives to this shit.
Come on now.
But we are the Dank Dads. So now we got two special guests, okay? Now that the Derby's moving along, first round's kind of coming up to an end. Vlad Guerrero's got 17. He's got a minute left. He took his time out. He's going to get well over 20. Looks like he's in it to win it. Usually, like, if you're hitting 30 bombs in your round, you're moving on every time. 30's a lot. And if you hit, I think you need to hit 2 home runs over 440 feet, and you get an extra 30 seconds.
Okay.
If you hit, and you get one timeout that you could use at any time. It's a cool little event. All the players sit on the grass and just watch. They got all their kids out there. They all got their GoPros on. They're filming the whole event. It's a fun time. And like I said, they got the kids in the outfield fielding the balls that aren't home runs. And that's got to be the dream come true for any kid with a glove, right, bro?
And they get to keep the ball.
They throw them back, but they definitely get a package of some sort for being able to be a part of that. But so looks like we got Nick Blue ready to go here.
I'm smiling so hard I can't help myself.
And here we go. We are the Dank Dads. Welcome. Thank you, son, for coming on in. Oh, he's got the Joe Montana in the background, too. Oh, that's hard.
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
What's up, my boy?
I love the Montana in the office.
Thank you. Got a little wake up there, too, if we adjust. It's a little harder to see, though. So we got.
Oh, and the Wake Forest
series out
there, huh?
Well,
go ahead. Give him a proper introduction here.
So first of all, listen. This is my roommate, my brother. Me and Nick Blue at Wake Forest. They threw me in a room with this guy, and they were like, "Good luck, you two." And
his headline says half of D'Antoni's RBI. He's taking credit for that shit. All right, I feel it.
Oh shit!
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, go on. My bad. I want to say
And
we all know that role.
We created this amazing relationship over time. You know what I'm saying? And not just a brotherhood, but like me and Nick Blue, we're thick as thieves at Wake Forest, and there's nothing to this day that I wouldn't do for him. We've always stayed together. In some of my hardest times, one thing is great about meeting people along your journey is like, there's been times when me and Nick haven't talked for months, and I call him up and be like, yo, this was like personal.
Right, like
my most personal stuff, like that I don't tell nobody else. I can call Nick and be like, yo, this was going on in my life. But that goes back to like nights in our dorm room when he shared things.
Yeah, if you had to live with this guy for 2 years, shout out to you, bro.
Listen.
I see him a couple times a week, and I'm like,
it's not easy. No, listen, it's not easy. But just know one thing. that I'm always going to have your motherfucking back, and he knows that for a fact. And he's one of the greatest people I know, one of the best athletes. I've never beat this son of a bitch in a basketball game in my life, and I hate him for it.
Hey, I'll shout out to you because he hasn't ever beat me either. We've only got one game under our belt, but
this is true. But listen, this is in my prime. Okay, Nick Blue was a freak. Nick Blue was a freak athlete. I mean, listen, you think he did not give a fuck, and he was gamey, and we had a ball. But listen, I want to just introduce you to my brother, one of Wake Forest's best baseball players on the planet, my brother, Nick Blue, Trick True. Love you, brother. Thank you for being here with me, bro.
Hey, thank you guys. Very kind. Nez, love you, man. Right back at you. I know you're Vegas now, but you always be Nez to me.
That's okay.
You know, it's an honor to be here. And when you see that lion behind you guys there, you know, that's a story for another time. But I'll just tell you that I went on a journey where lions and Nez played a big part. And you were there because you were my lion brother. So I'll tell you more about that at a later date.
Woo! I don't want to get choked up on this motherfucker. That's not going to happen. Because I will.
We go way back. You know, Nez showed up from inner city DC, and he shows up at Wake. And
tell him what I had in my bag. Tell him what I had in my bag, bro.
I'll get there. I don't know what people told him about Wake, but his scouting report was a little off. So I think he saw the guards and the gates, and he thought he must have been showing up at prison. Because the first thing he does when he gets to the room, you know, he puts his piece up in the closet there. And he's the only guy on campus carrying at Wake because it's a country club. And I just keep getting all these heads up from all my baseball boys, all my football friends. They're like, hey, your roommate's he's a monster. He was at a frat party the other night. And he whooped three dudes' ass. I'm like, what? Wait, what? I'm like, why? I don't know, but. And then it came to me over time. I realized he had to announce his presence with authority, and he had to show up and show, you know, who was the king of the jungle there. And it only took about 4 days, but everybody knew, okay, Nez is in town. And I had a little street cred at Wake because Nez was my roommate, and we'll get to that later in the show. But that was it was wild coming to Wake that way.
Yeah, some of the stuff that he's told me. In the Wake Forest days.
I didn't know you were just going to jump right out there just like that, but okay, let's
go. Yeah. So we're thick as thieves now. We became thick as thieves, but the reality was we couldn't have come from more different backgrounds in some ways, and yet at the same time, we found very quickly that we shared the same stuff. We both would do whatever it took to succeed and excel. And we figured that out. And so we developed a brotherhood based upon, you know, working together, aspiring to greatness. And, still one of my closest, you know, men in the world. So Nez, love you, man.
Love you too, brother. Salute.
He was telling me how, like the different classifications of the athletes at Wake Forest.
I want to bring D'Antoni in. Is that cool?
Yeah, I mean, if he's
because listen, you got to let these guys get together because it's not. This is
there. He is right there. He's waiting. Okay,
I'm gonna let you
waiting.
introduce him.
Well, we got ACC Player of the Year. We got the 2008 AAA Home Run Champion. We got. I mean, I was looking at the Wake Forest records, and I see this man's name everywhere on whether it's career or freshman records.
Okay,
it's quite amazing in a Power 5 school. Shit, I mean,
but other than that,
What was that?
Said they're all getting beaten.
They got the juice balls, man. That's not.
I don't know about that.
They stood for a long time, though.
It did, but it fell pretty damn hard this year.
They hitting you. They knocking you off, Tony. They knocking them off.
Dude, he didn't just knock me off. He actually their third baseman Brock Wilkin actually got ACC home run record as well. So he beat everybody over all time and beat out JD Drew. So he had one hell of a season. Actually, just got drafted today or yesterday. He got drafted 18th overall. So,
wow, was that yesterday?
Yeah, he's been doing pretty damn well. We had, I think, 10 guys drafted from the Demon Deacons yesterday.
Salute to that.
Yeah, no, that's big. So
They've done
What year is this guy? Is he touching your freshman record?
He tied the freshman record with 17, and then he just demolished the all-time record. So
All-time record.
Kid's a hell of a damn
I see
player.
that. So then, if he passed, he's up there now. You rank 7th in the ACC history in career home runs, and 7th in RBIs. That's quite a task, man.
They didn't come and get my RBI record this year, but I think their first baseman Nick Kurtz might have a run at both the home run and RBI record next year if he stays healthy.
Well, it appears that Nick reports that he has half of your RBIs.
Yeah,
so
I see that Nick decided to put that up. I don't know.
No, listen, don't be high. You heard what the man said. You heard what he said, Dan Tony. Don't be high. Okay? That's my brother right there. He said, I hope he's right, Nick. I hope you're right. I don't want to fuck with Jamie. Oh, my God. Hey, listen, salute. We are the Dank Dads, man. We want to thank you for tuning in to our Home Run Derby show. And I got my two brothers here from Wake Forest. I got the Wake Forest boys in the building, man. Where do we go from here? What do you want to know?
I just kind of want to know from you guys what it takes to get to a Power 5 school to play baseball. And obviously, it takes a lot to get to any college to play baseball. But as far as Power 5 is concerned, like give me some numbers you need in high school to get there.
Jamie, lead on that, man.
All right. I don't know if it's number based. I mean, a lot of it is where you play summer ball, where you get looked at, how many eyes you can actually get on you. I know from my experience being from a Northeast state, I came from Connecticut, not really a baseball mecca by any means. So, we have to travel to actually get people to see. So going to showcases, getting into AAU programs or Legion teams or whatever, just to get enough people to actually see you.
So is that mostly like you and the parents, or like not really so much coaches?
So we're old as shit, and our idea of recruiting was putting a VHS tape together and then sending that son of a bitch off to all these.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
that was our era.
Hey, Jamie, 1 second. Jamie, 1 second. Hey, Nick, come up to your mic a little bit. That's a big room and you're catching a lot of echo. I want to hear you clearly. So step up to the mic just a tad bit. Go ahead, Jamie. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But that was us, I think all of us, how we went through and got recruited was just sending it off to everybody, showing off a highlight reel, getting somebody to show up to your high school game, your summer program game, whatever, to see you in person, and then kind of, put the eye test on you rather than just watching a video. Nowadays, from what I've seen so far, it's a lot of YouTube videos and websites that you get to upload videos to. And
how much easier is that now, man, with the fucking platforms that allow you to just upload your stuff right to those platforms?
You talk about easy. At the same time, I think we were lucky that we didn't have to go through that when we were in college or in high school. Because, imagine always having a video camera on you no matter what.
Yeah, a lot more critiquing for sure.
Or social media. Can you imagine being a student athlete on social media? Come on.
I don't think that we would have made it a semester at school. I know I wouldn't, especially sophomore, junior year. I would not have made it through damn college.
The good old days.
Many times.
Wouldn't have been as much fun, for sure.
Hey, listen.
Hey, college got to suck now.
So
yeah,
I came in.
You're always on blast.
I came in as a January transfer in, right? And so right around that time, that was around the time when, Nick started to practice for baseball. And Nick's level of perfection, trying to be a perfectionist, he would always come home mad, right? He'd always come back to the room mad, right? And then when he would have a good day. And like those early years of you playing college sports, man, you got to stay focused on figuring out the system, finding your way in there. And Nick was focused every day on progression. And when he didn't progress, it would bother him so badly. It would bother Nick so bad. And I'd be like, dog, just let it go, man. Like tomorrow's a new day. And so I think like Nick had to develop like a certain kind of like as he went along, he got more zen and more like more of a meditative situation on how he approached how he came to practice and the outcomes of practice as well. So I just want to talk about like how hard is it getting into those systems and those college baseball systems within that Power Five?
I'll speak to that for a minute. I think one of the things that I always like to focus on, because you guys might not know this, but I brought Jamie on this show because Jamie hit freaking light tower power, and that's a lot easier to see. I'm not saying you did it in high school like you did in college and beyond, Jamie, but that's easy to see for a college recruiter, et cetera. But one of the things I always focused on was what can you do that's measurable, that nobody can take away, that's not subjective, right? If I say, hey, you know what, Jamie's the best hitter on this team, or Ned's the best hitter on this team, who knows, right? It's more subjective. What can you do that's measurable? And so for a pitcher, sometimes that's being able to throw 95 miles an hour. You can throw 95, you can't. You throw harder. You might not be better, but there's something measurable. And I think recruiters, I think scouts want to see that. For a position guy like me that wasn't going to light up the light towers like Jamie, I need to be able to run. So I need to be able to go out and run a 6.5, 60, do something like that. And obviously there's stats and all that, but really scouts and therefore recruiting coordinators are looking for tools. For baseball, they want to see the 5 tools. They want to see, do you hit for average? Do you hit for power? Do you have arm strength? Can you field? Can you run? And, to really be considered, I think you need to be either elite in 2 of them or really solid in 3 or more of them. And then a 5-tool player is, typically, ideally going to be your first rounder. So I think if I was giving advice to kids coming out of high school saying, hey, you want to play Power 5 baseball, make sure you're developing something that's going to be able to be measurable, that's objective, not subjective, and then go out and worry about if you're hitting 400 or not. But do what you need to do to get to your skills there. And that way, my wife ran track at Wake Forest. And I asked her, how did you get recruited to Wake? She's from Austin, Texas. She ran the time to run the 800. And that time, nobody could take away from her. And so therefore, she, got a full ride to Wake. So I just wanted to speak to that. But Jamie, by the way, as we're on the subject, Jamie, I appreciate you being on here. When Vegas reached out to me and said he wanted me to be on this show, I'm like, hey, I can talk about the home run derby, but let's put somebody on there who's won a home run derby. Let's put somebody on there who had more pop than me. And Jamie was the first guy that came to mind, so I appreciate it, man.
Definitely. Nick, I saw your name a couple times on the. I saw your name a couple times on the record books too. You had 4 stolen bases in one game a couple of times.
You
definitely got some.
Time too.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good transition though. Jamie, tell me what it was like winning that AAA home run derby.
I mentioned it in our little text thread. It was probably the most boring home run derby to anybody to ever watch.
Triple overtime. Sounds boring.
Ever. We did it in Louisville at the Bat Stadium, and I think 11 home runs was hit total over 26 rounds. It was awful. And
wow,
it's not a damn Julio's off.
So they just didn't time out the weather? Was the stadium not good for it?
The stadium is not. Pretty much all the International League is not really a hitters friendly league as opposed to the PCL. Jesus, this dude is showing off right now.
Is he?
Oh,
going nuts?
That's a hometown kid.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he's got an extra 30 seconds too.
He's got an extra minute coming up here in a minute because he hit his 2 over 440.
Oh, he is.
Oh, dude, it's impressive.
Damn, he's coming out to take it. That's your home stadium.
Dude, 1 second, guys. We got to take a quick break. Quick break. We're going in.
This new format, I'm surprised. The kids in the outfield aren't getting killed. People in the fans aren't getting killed. There's no hold time.
No, he is stroking him. It's crazy.
Dude, this guy is. I'd be.
No way.
Damn.
Wow. Oh, he caught that one. Yes.
He's got extra time still. Damn it.
They are going nuts in there right now.
And going against Pete Alonso, he needs that 30. Damn.
Hammered.
So what does the next minute come? He's getting right now.
Yeah, it's like a
Another
timeout.
break, and then he gets a minute. Everybody gets 30 seconds extra after their 2 rounds. And then
Now
if
listen,
they
is it
do
the same
over
way in
440, then they get an
same way in AAA?
Say what?
Is it the same way on your
Nez, the last time I did this was 20 years ago.
but was it had to have been the same format, I would guess,
No,
right?
I mean, it was the old school format of you get 10 outs.
Yeah.
And the ball has to land before you go, like they used to do. And it wasn't if you hit it over a certain amount of time or a certain distance, because we didn't have that kind of money. Nobody knew how far you hit it. It was just if it went over, and that was it.
Wow.
Now you got angle. You
Oh God! Now it's
miles per hour, spin rate. You've got
everything, huh?
Correct.
Within a second. It's wild.
All this StatCast, all this TrackMan stuff. I mean, it's great, but it's a lot of it can be overanalyzed and.
Yeah, at some point you don't know what stat to look at, and it's like which one's more impressive than the other one. And baseball is a whole numbers game, but yeah, I get it. Like it.
But that's what I think that a lot of kids nowadays are getting too involved in. They're looking at spin rate, they're looking at launch angle, they're looking at all this crap that doesn't make a damn bit of difference. You can have the best launch angle and the best, bat speed and all that kind of crap. If you can't put it together, doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't matter. So I mean, I would take. We had a guy against us in Clemson. Remember the Friday guy, Nikki? He threw 83 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. He would never light up a TrackMan. No one would ever look at him, and he was probably one of their most winningest pitchers that they've ever had at Clemson.
Yeah, because, number one in the country with him.
Yep, and he threw 16 different speeds, and he just knew how to pitch. But he would never be someone that, a scout or a GM or anybody would look at going, damn, this guy, he had 20 wins this year. I'm going to take him on my team because he's a batting practice pitcher in the big leagues. But he knew what the hell he was doing in college.
Well, then they had that guy, I think it was a year after you signed, Jamie, and he threw 103 miles an hour, but it was straight as a big country boy, just threw gas. But everybody lit him up because it was straight, and he threw harder than anybody. But McCann, I think it was McCann. I don't believe he progressed. He didn't get to play. So it's not all about those stats. It's not all about those tools. But in terms of getting in the door to a Power 5 team, getting drafted, those things matter.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean,
that's without a doubt.
That's where you'll see some of the guys that get drafted high or whatever. They're drafting it based on projection rather than actual skill, right? To and
measurables of what you're going to be and whatnot.
Correct, and that's going to be for any single sport. Doesn't make a damn bit of difference. And
I feel like you would miss often on that. Like how you guessing people's lives like that? That's wild.
And that's
you just hoping and praying that this shit works out.
That's what they do, though, right? That's what
it's for every recruiting in every sport, really. But
that's where good scouts make their name if they can look through the stats and look at the intangibles and go, okay, that dude's got something. I don't know what it is, but he's got something. Because I mean, there are plenty of guys that slip through the cracks on the exact opposite side and say they don't get drafted until the 40th round. Mike Piazza being one of them. He didn't light up anybody's freaking radar, and he's a Hall of Famer. So
let's face it. Piazza got drafted in the 48th round, I think it was, because he was Tommy Lasorda's godson.
Correct.
But he also could hit, which helped.
And he turned into a Hall of Famer.
That's right.
But I mean, that kind of stuff, you see it all the damn time. And I know that, I mean, Nikki, you play with enough people that get drafted 10th round or later, and they never make it to the big leagues, and they're probably better than any other person you've ever played with.
Wow. Are you serious?
One of the guys, they don't ever make it to that next level because no one's got any money invested in them. If they don't get anywhere, then no big deal. But you look at them and you go, man, you could really play better than half these guys out here.
100%. They have a prototype, Chase Vauchel prototype. You got these guys a certain height, certain speed, all those things. They check the boxes. I think at the end of the day, for a scout, if they sign a guy like that and they give him $1 million and he doesn't pan out, nobody cares. They're like, oh, that guy's a stud. He should have made it. I don't know what happened. But if you go and you pick a 5'10" kid who can straight up ball and you give him $1 million and he doesn't pan out, you're losing your job. So these guys
100%.
are trying to protect themselves.
As long as that guy's on everybody else's draft board, it wasn't just your fault.
Well, and
mentality.
MLB is weird with this whole draft thing. It's not like any other sport where you can get drafted a couple times before you actually go to the major leagues. Like you can say, I want to go back to college and then enter the draft again the next year. And then once you get drafted, you're not probably seen for the first 6 years, right? Depending on your talent.
I mean, there's a couple of guys. The closer for Tennessee last year is in the big leagues right now with the Angels. Paul Skeens has a really good shot of if the Pirates actually start putting this stuff back together and get to the playoffs, he's got a damn good shot of making that big league roster for the playoff run.
I get one of the main names that sticks out to me is Bryce Harper. I think he's one of the ones that came straight from the draft and right to the big leagues. I don't think he spent any time in the minors at all.
He did a little bit, but it wasn't very long. I mean, you're going to see a lot more pitchers than position players.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, Bryce being an absolute anomaly just because as a high school kid, he wasn't built like a normal high school kid.
Yeah, no, definitely.
He was a man at 17
What
years
you got
old.
there, Vegas?
What
you got there?
I said it's a family show. Didn't I say it's a family show? I'm trying to. Okay, all right. I'm trying to smoke on my own over here. Mind my business. And here you go, diming me out, sir. Don't be trying to listen. I'm great fire up. I was gonna move, but go ahead. Yeah, I'm about to.
We got a question in the comments for you guys. How do you, with baseball being such a mental game, the best players are hitting 30% of the time, right? How do you keep your motivation and keep your love for the game, like when you're in a slump? Like how do you I'm talking in perspective of a 13 to 17-year-old kid that is easy to get in your head, and baseball is vicious when it comes to that. So like how do you keep the motivation going when you're in a deep slump?
I'll jump on that one, and then I know Jamie's got something to say about it too. I think one of the most important things is to control what you can control. So yeah, guys might hit 300 and be Hall of Famers. The reality is they're having more successful at-bats than 30%. Just because you get hit 3 out of 10 times doesn't mean you're successful 3 out of 10 times. You might be hitting the ball hard 6 out of 10. You might getting a couple walks in there, moving guys over. And so I like to look at it in terms of successful at-bats, in terms of good, hard barrel contact, working counts, getting on base. Guys like me were getting on base so I could let guys like Jamie knock me in. Guys like Jamie, they gotta hit the ball in the seats and off the wall. But I think it's really changing the definition of success. It's not about hits. You could hit 500 in high school, and if you don't do it with a good solid swing and driving the ball, there's no Power 5 team that would look at you. If you hit 300, but you're hitting the ball with authority, guys will care about that. You're having good solid at bats, and so. Big league teams, they're looking for guys that have a good quality approach at the plate, that can square the ball up. Give a quick story on that. Eric Karros, we're talking about Piazza, but the next year's Rookie of the Year, Eric Karros, basically nobody liked him. But one of the things the Dodgers saw on him is they said, I don't know what it is about this guy. He doesn't run well, doesn't throw that well, doesn't even have a pretty swing. But for whatever reason, this guy squares the ball up on the barrel better than anybody I've ever seen. And, went on to be a fantastic player for the Dodgers, Rookie of the Year, et cetera. So I think just changing the definition of what success is and looking at that. And the final thing I'll say on that, because it sounds like somebody asking about, for a kid, somebody trying to make it. I used to always keep a journal after games, and I would track my appearances and I would track my successful at-bats. And that successful at-bat might be a walk because I worked the account. That successful at-bat might be a line out. But I did what I was supposed to do, and the guy was just there. So don't worry about good at bats.
Did you change anything or keep the same approach when you were in a slump? Let's say whether you're hitting the ball hard or not, you just were not getting on base. You weren't seeing the ball well, whatever it might be. Did you just keep the same approach, or would you want to switch something up? I know baseball tends to be super superstitious. Same with a lot of sports, but did you keep the same mind frame?
I mean, it was. The best thing about baseball is you have so many games.
Right.
So you don't have time to think about slumps as much as if you were, playing football and you've missed 3 or 4 catches, you missed a block, that kind of stuff. You missed a tackle, and you got a week to dwell on it. At least with baseball, give it 30 minutes and you got another at bat. And then give it a day, you got another 4 at bats coming. And it's just hopefully staying in the lineup, regardless of slump or not, is the hardest part, so that you can get another chance. But when Nikki was talking about, a journal, I mean, I kept one in high school, in AAU ball, and every single pitch that was thrown, you pretty much go back in the dugout and you just rehash that at bat, so that the next time going in, he got me to a 1-2 count, and then he threw a slider in the dirt. I swung at it. That was an idiot move, and I can't do that again.
How many guys on your team were doing that? How many guys on your team were keeping a log?
I was lucky that my AAU coach was a former minor league guy, and he had played for a while, and that was something that he told all of us to do. So a lot of us did follow what he was doing, but it wasn't something that everybody in high school was doing. It was just travel ball when you have most of your all-in baseball players, rather than somebody in football and basketball needing something to play during their offseason. They didn't want to run track, and baseball was available, and therefore they just did it. Like, we just had a lot of athletes to round out a team as opposed to baseball players, especially where I was, because, again, Connecticut, not really, known for it. But, I mean, slumps happen. The easiest thing, I think the best part about a lot of these guys, the smarter guys, the ones that analyze everything, are not going to be your best hitters. The ones that can forget really, really simply and really quickly are going to be your better hitters. And it's, repetition and muscle memory that makes your swing as good as you can possibly get it, but not overthinking. And for a lot of kids, especially 16, 18-year-olds, when you got so much more on your plate to begin with, I mean, it's easier said than done, but it's something that the more time you put into it and the harder you try to get, better at it, the easier it's going to be when you get older. Because it's when we got to college and you start playing with, much more advanced mentally, physically, and that kind of stuff, it became easier because you knew what was going on. We got to, minor league ball, and it was easy. You see these guys in big leagues when they're getting paid a whole bunch of damn money and they're doing it for a living. They put in their time. They put in their hard work. So now it just comes natural, regardless if they're in a slump or not. You see them, you're like, oh, they don't care. No, they just know that if they dwell on it too much, that slump's going to last 2 weeks rather than 2 games.
Right.
Let me ask a quick question, Jamie. Like, can you take me back through that journal a little bit? Like, I mean, like, what was that? What was the process of that journal for you? How did he lay that out? Because that's almost like a motivational David Goggins type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like next level. I mean, I've never heard that before. I think athletes, period, a DB should keep a journal just like that as well. I've never even heard of that before. I don't want to let that just ride, bro. Like, that is extraordinary. Take me down through that just a little bit.
And we did it. I mean, there's a lot of guys that did it in the big leagues. There's a lot of guys that did it over in Japan when I was playing over there. It's just some kind of way to make sure that you knew what was going on during the game, rather than just waiting until after the game was over to look at StatCast and go, okay, these are my bats. This is what happened. These are the pitches that every single time I got out on. These are the ones that I had good bats on. You go back in, and as soon as you get back to the dugout, you're writing it down so it's fresh on your mind, especially on an out, because when you get a hit, it could be that first, good.
Right there in the dugout. Right there in the dugout, you got your book.
Yep, every single time. And
where do you keep the goddamn book at, Jamie? Where's it at? By the bats? Where's it at?
Just anywhere that you can remember where the hell it was, and you knew where it was. So you put on some stupid ass stickers when you were in high school, just like drawings and crap, just to know that was yours. And then the longer I played, and it was starting to get like when I started getting hurt, and then I started understanding a lot more, and I kind of gotten upset about it. But understanding the catcher, way more important than understanding the pitcher.
Interesting.
Because when you get to the higher levels, when the catcher is the one that is actually calling the game, a lot of times they'll fall into, patterns rather than actually worrying about what the pitcher throws best. The catcher is always like, all right, this is what I like to call on certain pitch counts because it makes me feel comfortable rather than what he wants to throw. So if you know your catcher, and because you play these guys multiple times, you know that this one guy on every single 0-2 count, he's going to call a fastball up to try to change your eye level. And then he's going to go right back to something in the dirt to screw with your head. And then you kind of know what's going on before he even starts. So,
or whoever's calling the pitches, right? Like if it was Bobby Moe, you know what Bobby
that's
Moe's
where
going to do if you're playing
as soon
against
as you
him.
get to the higher ends, then the catcher is usually calling that pitch rather than a pitching coach. But even in college, we would when I was going back to Wake in 14. I was in the dugout a lot of the damn times just because I welcomed myself into it, and no one's going to tell me no because I'm an asshole and I'm just going to keep walking by everybody. You start playing a 3-game series, and you start realizing that every single 0-2 pitch, there's a certain way of doing it. For us, I mean, when we were playing, 0-2 was a 2 carve, which was 3-4 balls outside for an 0-2 pitch just to see if they can actually swing at. Pretty much every 0-2 pitch was going to be
a bait.
It was you were trying to just see if they can chase, see if you can get a bad call from the umpire, but it was almost every single time. So if you paid attention enough, you can learn a coach's way of doing things, a catcher's way of doing things, and then you can start as soon as you start playing a lot more, and then you start guessing. In college, it's tough to guess.
I think too, like the ones that can go on to further their career, whatever, Power 5, college, minor leagues, the pros. You got to have a little bit of that, like Ed Reed almost. Like you might not know what the play is, but you got the instincts enough to make a real good, educated guess and be in the right spot. And I think that those like kind of intangibles that are not really something you can measure is very valuable.
I think that journal as a whole, I'm going to cut you off, Jamie, but I think that journal as a whole is big just to be able to keep a record in anything as an athlete. I don't know if basketball players do it, but it's kind of like, what's my guy who was Michael Jordan's coach? I mean, Michael Jordan's trainer. Like just keeping a record of what's going on in between each game and the whole. That's a genius idea.
But that's
it's a way to stay very in tune.
Yeah,
but it's also keeping yourself accountable.
Exactly.
And that's a big thing for nowadays is that, especially with baseball, when you're the only one in that box, you're the only one doing everything.
Wow.
You got to make sure that you're holding up your end. And a lot of people just think, oh, well, it's just see ball, hit ball, no big deal. It's pretty damn simple. Mm-hmm. We're guessing 90% of the time. And you're reacting the other kind of percentage of the time. But you don't sit there and just hope to God that you're going to get a certain pitch one time throughout the at-bat. You're looking for it. And if you don't get it, that's when you see a lot of these guys when they don't swing at a pitch that's right down the middle because you're looking for something else.
Yeah, they're guessing something totally different. Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, like what Jamie's talking about there, whether it's the journal or learning how to pick up on a catcher's tendencies, a coach's tendencies, a pitcher's tendencies, all that stuff. And it is that intuition, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is a growth mindset. Because like what we talked about at the start of the show, the reason that Vegas and I became close was we both had an extremely strong growth mindset that nothing was going to stop us. And that comes down to, hey, what kind of pitch are they throwing me on 2-0 versus 0-2? All those different things that Jamie just touched on. The reality is if you have the growth mindset, you'll start figuring it out because you have to progress at every level. I'm going to kind of throw Jamie under the bus for a second, but it'll come around. So stick with me, Jamie. Jamie, when you first came to Wake, how many pull-ups could you do?
No, zero. I never touched a weight my entire life.
So you got to
First
understand
time in the weight room, I had to actually have our trainer pick me up off the ground after like one set of chest because I had never touched a weight ever.
So this
First of all, let me say one thing before we move on, guys. That was Ed and Scott, correct, guys?
What was that?
Oh, shit.
Ed and Scott? Was that Ed and Scott, our weight trainers back then?
Oh, yeah. Ed and Scott, yes.
Okay. They're also national championship strength coaches. Ed and Scott Ellis for Georgia. Just wanted to put that out there. But go ahead, fellas. I'm sorry. I had to plug them, you dig.
I like it. Yeah, they helped us out a lot. So what I was going to say with Jamie, though, and how it ties in with the growth mindset is when Jamie showed up, you know, I'm 1 year older than Jamie, so I was already on campus. And he came out and everybody said, oh, he's got a nice swing. And we saw these nice shots in the gap. And then we saw him in the weight room. We're like, this dude can't do a pull-up, was struggling with basic weights. And we're like, huh. But really what it was by the time he was done, you know, he became a power hitter. Actually, by the time his freshman year was done, he became a power hitter. And some of that was the weight room. Some of that, I think, was not related to being a growth mindset. But you started to drink, which put on a little weight and some pop. But, you know, when you look at Jamie, that growth mindset was he went from not being able to do a pull-up or, you know, bench press, anything to being, you know, the most feared power hitter in our league. And so for the kids, any parents that are out there talking to their kids or kids that are listening, it is about that growth. Doesn't matter where you are, it matters where you're going to get to and the work you're going to do to get there. So anyway, that's just a hats off to Jamie from going from where he was, because if he stayed there and he didn't get any stronger, you know, he wouldn't have got drafted in the second round. That's for sure. So anyways, well done.
This is exactly why I know Marcus and I are in the right place, because from where we first started episode 1 to where we are at right now, if that's not growth, I don't know what the hell it is. So, I mean, and this guy has done wonders to my life. And it's wild, bro. Like he pulled something out of me that I didn't know that was in there, and that's just
Nick Blue's my first Tony Robbins. like Nick Blue's my first Tony Robbins, bro. Listen, because the thing about he really was. He was like a little motivational speaker back in college and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, and it was just a vibe. And we had a room vibe. You know what I mean? Like, and every day we all both left our room to go do something towards what our dreams were.
Yep.
And we trained hard as a motherfucker. He went and did. He'd come back dirty as fuck. But hey, man, you dirty as a motherfucker walking in here, bro. What are you doing? And listen, the summertime. Let me say this. Nick Blue is a serial sleepwalker, okay? For those who don't know, Nick Blue is a serial sleepwalker.
The show's over. Cut.
1 year, his grandmother or somebody bought him wooden bats. And he was going to go play in the Cape for the summertime. And the big square box of bats, and Nick wakes up in the middle of the night in his tighty whities, and he goes and pulls one of those bats out and starts taking batting practice in the middle of our dorm room.
Yeah, you got to test it out.
Listen, it's hard to do what you got to do.
But
listen, what he had to do was on my brains, okay? And I was like, what the fuck? So I had to slide off the end of the bed and wrangle him. And there were many nights where I had to wrangle this man, okay?
Pause.
No, listen. There's no pausing. I got one more story, and I'm going to wait for later. Let's go ahead.
Damn,
That's what you want.
You brought up Clemson earlier, Nick. Yeah, big pause, Stack. Exactly. In the comments, big pause for sure.
Oh, me and this guy have had a lot of weirdo moments. They're coming out. All right.
No, you brought up Clemson earlier, and I was checking some records, and historically, the baseball record against Clemson is not very good. Now, I'm curious: is it solely because of those grandmas behind the visitors' dugout? Is it only because of them?
Homework, you punks.
Are they rattling you guys that much?
Well, I'll tell you.
I need to know what they're saying to you, bro.
I'll tell you a little story on that. So I got my freshman year. I got my first start at Clemson, and we're at Clemson, and I'm just stoked to be there starting. We had a solid squad that year. lot of high draft picks, and I'm in the on-deck circle. And this place is packed. Jamie played there a bunch. You know, you get 7,000 people. Now, I mean, it's even more. Their stadium got bigger. But it's packed. People are going crazy. Everybody's wearing orange. They got their, you know, their tiger paws on. And, you know, I'm just excited to be there, just thinking about what Jamie's talking about. What pitch am I going to get first pitch? I'm ready to go. And suddenly, I hear this little old lady 3 rows back call my name. And I look back, and I, you know, it's a little old lady, looks like my grandma. And so I give her a smile, and she goes, "Nick Blue." And I see her teeth. She got about 4 of them. She goes, "You fucking suck." I'm like, whoa, okay. I didn't see that one coming. So yeah, that's one of Clemson's little inside tricks to win games. But Florida State had their own ways, if Jamie remembers the Batgirls.
Yeah. That was
that's
play.
Yeah, no, Clemson was a great place there to play.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Jamie,
So,
what was
like-
your favorite place to play in the ACC?
Florida State was always fun because at least everybody there was fans.
Yeah.
And, you know, they'd have their, you know, the fifth inning, Oh Canada, and they had certain things that historically were different than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But at least they paid attention. They knew what the hell was going on. And it wasn't just, you know, us versus them. Because that's where Kyle got his streak beaten, and they gave him a standing O when they beat him. They knew what was going on. They were true baseball fans. Rather
We
than
were talking about Kyle Sleeth, who had the national record for consecutive wins.
Yeah.
And, he was one of our teammates, Hall of Famer at Wake, just like Jamie is.
and it was
They gave him a standing ovation at the end of his record.
yeah, when they knocked him out and they beat us, not bad, but they beat us in like the 7th or 8th inning when Kyle left. They gave him a standing O because they knew that was he could not get the win because it was already the bottom of that inning.
Right.
And they gave him a standing O, knowing that, you know, they were the ones that finally beat it, but giving him his respect because he'd already beaten them 2 times before.
Yeah.
Right.
They knew the
So
game.
that was, you know, that's when they showed that realness to, you know, what their fans were, as opposed to sometimes you go places and it's just berating.
Right.
And that's all you get. It doesn't matter what happens. You can make a stick.
Nick
play
said he
in
had
the
some
field.
grandma tell him you fucking
It
suck.
just doesn't work.
So who had the prettiest ballpark, I guess you could say, in the ACC?
Ooh. ACC.
G-Tech's new field when we were there was probably the nicest just because it was brand new.
And the stadium, the city skyline behind it was beautiful.
Yeah, that was probably the nicest.
The Wake Stadium?
No.
G-Tech.
No?
G-Tech.
No, I mean it's nice now, but back then ours was what now is the practice field or practice area for the golf tournament or the golf guys and girls.
Oh shit!
Oh damn! How was Virginia Tech's field? Was it nice?
They weren't in the ACC then. Their field was
that's
terrible.
true.
Big East. They were Big East.
That was Big East. That's
Yeah.
right.
We played there.
But you played there though. You played there.
Fool. We old.
We did play there, and it was in like a cow pasture, and you just depending on where the wind was blowing, it was just like, holy shit, that's a different smell. It was bad.
Smell.
That's hilarious.
Hey,
Bad.
we're talking about Florida State, Jamie. You remember when the streaker shot across at Florida State? Your freshman year.
Dude,
That's
I don't
Florida State?
remember very much from college.
What?
Well,
And you're not supposed to, sir.
That's
That's a great answer to tell your goddamn lawyer, sir. I don't remember much. Very good job, sir.
Well, I'll help Jamie remember this one. It's the bottom of the 9th inning at Florida State. We're tied up with them, packed house, both ranked very high at the time. And suddenly, there's a runner on second base. Suddenly, a streaker, naked dude, runs across the field. And he's right behind me because I'm in the middle infield. This guy's running right behind me. I'm checking. I wasn't checking him out, but I'm checking him out. Easy, Jamie. And he gets
where these
tackled
weird
by
stories come
security,
from,
right?
Nick.
And we're all distracted. We're like, whoa, next ball, little blooper to center field, game over.
Ah.
And we
It's not
were
ways to win.
we had just like there was a couple of guys on, but we had just like turned the momentum, got a couple of outs, about ready to like get out of the inning, and then that shit happened. I remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn,
At
and just
some
lost
point,
off that, huh?
You know,
Tactic.
I know you guys have the agenda for the talk today, but I think at some point Jamie should speak to playing in Japan for playing for your.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to know about that. What it was like out there for sure.
Best experience that I ever had. Wish I was able to do it again or longer before I got hurt, but.
Well, let's set it up. Let's set it up first. I want to know how did it go. Give me the little bit of a segue to how it went from start to finish. So we came from Wake Forest, and where do we go? How did it work?
All right, so got drafted, played some years in the minor leagues, made it up through the progression. In 2008, I finally made it to the big leagues. Was only up there for about a month and a half, 2 months. Didn't get that many at bats. Was mostly just a pinch hitter off the bench. You know, sit 3 hours and then try to hit 95 with a 6 slider. Really easy. Like
The one game you started though was your best career game up in the big league.
it was the only game that I had started.
But stat wise, is the best one you filled up the stat book with.
Yeah, I had
some walks and some runs.
I mean, it was. I don't remember the game, to be honest, but that's different.
I love drugs.
That year, pretty much had somebody come from Japan that said, hey, we're looking at you to come back over, and I had gotten some people to look at me the year before because somebody got hurt the year before, and they were trying to get me over there. It didn't work out. I'm glad it didn't, so that I can actually stay here and make it to where I needed to do. But as soon as the year was over, we're in the clubhouse after that last game, and GM comes over and talks to me and says, hey, we got this opportunity for you. It's something you might want to take advantage of. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about, but I'm in. I don't know what you want me to do, but so like a month later, I get bought out, go to Japan, and sign with Tokyo. And from the time that I landed in Japan, it was an amazing experience. And it's just, they love baseball over there. Some of the craziest fans I've ever seen in my entire life. A full band out in the outfield. Every single seventh inning, they have some kind of like thing that they do. Ours was with an umbrella. A couple of teams had like screaming balloons. Like it's really neat, and it's
was the pay comparable?
For me, it was better.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, this was before nowadays thing. Like, my second year in AAA, I made $2,100 a month before taxes.
In AAA.
Yeah.
Whew.
That's why everybody was up in arms, and they put it through, and it got cleared that they're gonna have to pay for housing, and because I was $2,100 a month. Then I had to pay for my housing. Then I had to pay for clubhouse dues. Then taxes came out. Like, we didn't make money. You were playing in hopes that you can make it to the big leagues to actually finally make some money.
Right. The road in the minors is a long, tough one for sure.
It is. It humbles you really damn quickly, but it makes you very appreciative when you actually do get there, and the hard work that it takes to get to that opportunity. It pays off when you finally can get there. But the pay in Japan was not as much as some of these guys are getting here. But it's still a lot of damn money for someone that has never made any money before.
Do you think it made you a better baseball player?
I mean, I would love to say yes or no to that, but as soon as I came back, I had signed with Florida, and then 2 weeks before spring training started for big league camp, my knee just gave out again, and that was it. Because when I was in Japan, I was doing every 6 weeks, I was getting drained, a shot of Synvisc and a shot of cortisone with lidocaine in it.
Yeah.
I had my first surgery in 2008, my first blood clot in 2008, and then in 2011, right after I'd signed with Florida, they cut me before it even started because my knee started swelling again, And like nonchalantly, I just went in there and said, "Hey, can you drain me real quick?" Just because, you know, my knee's swelling up. And they're like, yeah, that's not normal. We don't do that. And for 2.5 years, that's all I was used to. Every 6 weeks, I was getting an oil change. And then three surgeries later in 10.5 months, and now I'm on blood clot number 5. It's, you know, legs didn't handle it very much. But no, Japan was the culture, the people, the actual baseball, playing with some guys that were, I mean, phenomenal at what they did, and it's more skill based than it is talent based over there. And you can see the difference in play, especially during WBC when they are as good as they are. It's not because they're bigger, stronger, faster, more dominant. They take every single piece of ability and make it worth its while, and it's pretty impressive.
And I mean, I think the game is kind of seeing it with Shohei right now. I mean, blowing the doors off everybody, and he's obviously an anomaly, but
yeah, he's different. That's a different dude. And he was in high school when I was over there, and everybody, when, you know, we're watching the high school, you know, whatever, his name came up because he had thrown like 190 something pitches one game, and then came back in and threw 140 like 3 days later. And everybody was saying, "Oh, this kid's gonna blow up his arm," but they work harder than everybody, and their bullpen sessions are, you know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and you get to, you know, pro ball, and a bullpen session could last 20 pitches and they're done.
What do you mean by they work harder than everybody? What do you mean?
They never leave. Because out there, if you're not like 40 years old, you're a young kid. And in their culture, if you're young, you don't have a say. You're not making decisions. It doesn't matter if you're making more than everybody else, but if you haven't had your time, they go based on seniority. So there can be kids that are 28, 29, 30 years old that have played in their big leagues for 10 years, and yet they're still doing extra hitting, extra fielding, extra everything. Over here, you be old as hell, and you be in the clubhouse trying to get ice on every single body part that you have. Over there, 5'10" and 180 pounds, you don't get hurt.
Wow.
It's just it's a different way of doing things, but they almost overwork their bodies so that when it comes down to normal everyday activities, they've already stressed their muscles, their limbs, their everything to a point that normal activity doesn't hurt them.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, they definitely.
With Jamie there, I just want to speak to him for a second because I think it's amazing he got that honor to play in Japan. I grew up playing over there. I played Little League Baseball over there. I played Pony League over there, and I played on all Japanese teams. So I got to see that work ethic from 7 years old through 15, and it's amazing. The level of talent. I shouldn't say level of talent. Level of skill through 18 is vastly superior to what we have in the United States. Yeah, you got some big guys, 6'5", that they're pretty talented guys throwing harder, all that stuff. But you take any Japanese high school team, their starters, and you put them up against the starters on most teams here, and they'll beat them. They field amazing. Their hitting is locked in, top to bottom. Their guys can play. And to Jamie's point, it is based on seniority. They have every team will have their captains. And in Japan, they've got a senpai and they've got a kohai. And your senpai is your boss, right? Your senpai is your captain, usually your oldest guy, your leader, usually your best player. And your kohai is kind of like your water boy. And everybody has their role in Japanese groups and society. So it's cool to hear what Jamie's talking about because it's very different than American baseball. But guys work hard. When I was playing over there, we had I'll tell you 2 quick stories. One, at some point we weren't fielding the way our coaches wanted us to, so they just had us just start running, and we just started doing fartleks from foul pole to foul pole, and we just kept running until everybody was throwing up. Everybody, basically, until we were done. And give you an idea of how much harder they practiced. Starting at 7 years old, every baseball team in Japan will practice on Wednesdays from 2 to 8. or 12 to 6, depending on the time of year. Saturday, 2 to 8, 12 to 6. And then on Sunday, 6 in the morning till 6 at night. You just wouldn't have many American kids signing up to go back if you're there for 12 hours. And you're not playing tiddlywinks. You're practicing, you're diving, you're sliding, and all the stuff that American ball players don't want to do. That's what we did, and we did it gladly because we worked hard, we enjoyed it, and it was this camaraderie. And Jamie got to see that at the highest level in Japan and where it comes together. But I got to see it, in youth sports over there and how they do it. That's just how the Japanese. That's how they roll.
Is there a reason why maybe more of them aren't coming over to the MLB as often? I mean, the last couple of years we've seen like 3 or 4 come through, but I mean it's not an every year thing. I feel like.
You don't
reason for that?
Get over there that they want to come over here. They don't have anything to prove. It's.
I mean, I figured it was mainly for money. I would assume.
I mean, most of them aren't coming over here for money. Most of them are coming over here because they're just that dominant over there that they really want to test themselves. And I think they watch, actual big league ball, and it's always, Ichiro went over there. I want to do that. Hideki Matsui went over there. I want to. Koji went over there, and they want to. Solidify or cement their name along those guys and say, I did it as well. Rather than just staying over in Japan and say, yeah, I played for 40 years in the Japanese league, but I could have gone over there. I would have gone over there. And most everybody over there, you have to take English up to a high school level. So all of them know how to speak English to begin with. And as soon as you got these guys, because you're only allowed 4 guys per big league team over there that can be non-Japanese. And it could be Korean, Latin, American, doesn't matter. You start talking to some of these guys and you know which ones want to go and which ones don't. Right from the beginning. Because they're the ones that are always going to go to that American dude or that guy that's been in the big leagues and buddy up with him going, okay, how was it? What happened? What did you have to do? And then you'll have the other ones that are just happy with doing whatever they need to be a rock star over in Japan, but they're not trying to be an Ichiro.
Right.
I think
Ohtani could have stayed over there and dominated that league forever. Mm-hmm. Forever. But he knew that he was way better than everybody else over there. I played over there with Yu Darvish. I played over there with Matsuyama. I had a guy on my team that made it over here and played for a couple different teams in the big leagues over here. And you can just see that they're on a whole nother level.
I think one thing to remember, not that this show needs to be about Japanese baseball, but the Japanese are a very proud people. So we we assume that they want to come over here. And to Jamie's point, some of them do, and some of them don't. Right? I mean, these are descendants of samurai. They're happy to be in Japan, and they've got a good life there. Most of these major leaguers can walk down the street, unless you're a big name in the United States. You can walk down the street, and nobody knows who you are. In Japan, any big leaguer in Japan, they know who you are. You're going to have people chasing after you, like it's and some people love that. So if you want to be a star, you can go to Japan and be a star, and here you can be a guy. Play for 15 years in the big leagues, and nobody knows who you are in Chicago.
They They absolutely love their heroes. When I was over there, Michael Jackson died. It was like the world fucking stopped.
Yeah,
and it should have.
Like
we all love Mike Jack, man. We love Mike Jack.
For a week, for an absolute week. BP music, your walkout music, everything that was played at these stadiums was Michael Jackson. That was it. Because it was like their grandmother died. It wasn't just Michael Jackson.
Oh.
It was a family member that died. Anybody that came over there, I was very fortunate.
Mike Jack was that guy over there, huh?
Huge. And it doesn't matter who you are. Taylor Swift was over there when I was there, and it was like pandemonium. I was very fortunate. I have met the Black Eyed Peas. I have met will.i.am twice now. Once here, and I hung out with him in Japan as well, and it was nuts. Like,
he's different, ain't he?
Well,
Listen, I've hung out with him as well. Like, I had a company pay me to keep him in one space.
It's
literally, and he is so different,
dude.
Trust me. Salute the Will I Am, man.
He was the musical guest at a party in New York that I snuck into, and he was amazing. And then, lo and behold, a year later, he's in Japan with everybody from the Black Eyed Peas, and I didn't even realize who it was until the next day when everybody showed me pictures. I'm like, son of a bitch, that looks a lot like. They're like, yeah, that was him. I'm like, well, I'm glad that I didn't know, because I would have felt bad for what I just did. But it is what it is. But anybody that went over there that was a big name, it was cameras, the biggest paparazzi. But it's not the same kind of way that it is here, that everybody is like all up on you. It's a respectful paparazzi, which is really weird to see, but
I know with what's his name, Trevor Bauer, the Dodgers. He's over there right now, and I see him on TikTok and all that, and I mean, it looks like he's having the time of his life over there. Obviously, he's almost kind of had to go over there if he wanted to continue playing, but I mean, he looks like the fans love him. Like, he looks like he's having a great time over there.
So everybody loves you until you have that one bad game or you have that time. And
of course,
right now he started off pretty rough and rocky.
Yep, I've seen that. Yep.
He got sent back down to the minors, then went back to the big leagues, and he started like really playing.
Picking it up a little bit.
Yep, and he throws hard. He does a lot of strikeouts. He's animated. And then on the flip side, whenever he does all of his, post game, on the field, because every single game they have like a player of the game, and they bring you a big stuffed animal, and you actually do like an interview on the field in front of everybody. And he does that really, really well. And I'm sure that if he's going to stay over there rather than come back over here, I think he's one of those guys that will try to learn Japanese and ingratiate himself into the system a lot better than others. We had some guys that did that, and those are the guys that always stuck. The ones that didn't stay, that didn't appreciate the nuances of Japanese baseball and Japanese culture, were always the ones that left earlier than others, because it was different. And you have guys that played in the big leagues that go over there that they don't last a month, and they're better than a lot of other guys. But because all they do is they say, well, this wouldn't have happened in big leagues. Well, sorry, pro, you're not in the big leagues anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're not taking private jets. You're taking a fucking train to go to and from stadiums. Like, that's just how it is. And if you keep talking about how it was in the big leagues, you're going to miss the opportunity and miss the idea of what you're here for.
Yeah.
I'm glad you soaked that up, Jamie. It's a special.
It's awesome. And I wish that a lot of people, especially minor league guys or 4A guys that keep bouncing up and down, I wish that they can see that opportunity. They can go back and forth. Because I've had guys that go to Korea, Taiwan, Japan. You don't appreciate it until you've gone somewhere else. And I played in winter leagues, and you go to Dominican Republic and you see these guys have to rebuild some of their family homes every single year during the monsoon season because they live in huts.
Wow.
And yeah, they're making money now, but 2 years ago they were living in a damn shanty down by the river. And
no way. Are you serious?
Oh, all the time. There was Alexi Casillas was the second baseman for the Twins when I was down there. And he was gone for a couple of weeks because his family's house was gone, like just demolished. And he's making, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And most of these dudes are actually taking that money and sending it back. Bartolo Colon, we went to his compound. He made an entire stadium for these dudes to play at. It's just, it's a completely different ballgame. And a lot of us, or me, and I'm okay with calling myself out, that in the beginning, I had a problem with a lot of the Latin guys that I played with. They were, they were very, it felt like they were self-centered. They didn't want to do the things that everybody else was doing. It was a cultural difference, the language barrier, everything was just off for me. Then I went and played in Dominican. I came back, had no problem with that ever again. Because I saw what they had to go through to even get to that point.
Right.
They got a pass for everything the rest of their damn life.
Salute to that. Hey, yo, salute to just the awakening, man, and just seeing the world, bro.
Yeah, seeing the world.
That's awesome, man. That's growth, man.
But that's the
1000%.
best part about sports. I would have never, I mean, I played for Team USA in high school. I went to Germany, played out there. I played in Alaska, played in Cape Cod, played in Japan, played in Mexico, played in Dominican Republic. I've been to all but 3 states in the United States, all because of baseball. I never would have done that damn stuff if I didn't have sports. I got my eyes open to a lot of different cultures, a lot of different people, a lot of different ways of life. If I didn't have that, and most people, they don't ever leave their state. They don't leave their coast. And they just think everybody and everything is the exact same. You don't realize just how good you have it until you go see the other half.
Right, right.
See how bad it is there. See
I've been
what
there.
They have to eat. See what they have to do to go actually to a job. And then you come back here and you have a different understanding of everything that we bitch and complain about is first world problems.
Oh, fact. 1000%.
Love you, brother.
I mean,
I love you.
And it's tough that everything is money driven. Everything is popularity. Boost. Pound your chest, and you're the guy. And most of these dudes that are on TV now that are playing sports, a lot of it is that drive. But on the flip side, the guys that are in those minor league parts or those B leagues, those D leagues or whatever, they're just working to send home food money and rent money and shit for their family because they're still living in poverty.
Yep. Hey, we got a question on here. In Japan, did you ever play with a guy named Randy Messenger by chance? He played in Japan for a couple of years. He was a pitcher. This is what the comment says. So,
name sounds familiar. I'm a God Almighty. He wasn't on my team. I probably played against him.
Right, and a pitcher, yeah, you might not ever see those. You might see them many times. You might never.
I don't care about non-athletes. Every single pitcher that's an enemy.
Pitchers are non-athletes. All right.
That's not a friend. No, it's
that is hilarious. Damn, that is fucking
really
hilarious.
I am really bad with memory. Like
I'm gonna segue a little bit back to America, but before I wanna. You guys think that in Ohtani's short amount of time, given that what he's doing, hitting and pitching, do you think he's surpassed Ichiro yet, or not quite? I'm not talking in the eyes of people in Japan, but I'm talking about for the game of baseball.
It's a great question, but I think it's comparing apples to oranges. Like, they're both absolutely elite athletes at what they do, but Ichiro is still. I mean, he could probably go out there and hit 300 to most teams right now.
He threw 94 as an opening pitch like last year.
Yeah,
exactly. That guy takes phenomenal care of his body, his bats, his gloves. He's an absolute craftsman. So I think Ohtani is a wonderful, special specimen of a baseball player, and Ichiro is too. But I don't think you can even compare them. They're just so different. It's almost like they're playing two different sports. Like, how do you compare, Jordan with A-Rod? It's like two different sports.
Yeah, I mean, but okay. Let me ask a better question then. Do you ever see Ohtani surpassing Ichiro?
Yeah, and yes, so he played for the Hanshin Tigers in 2010 and 2019. Yes, I did, but 2010 was my last year. That was just I saw that.
Oh, okay.
There would never be an Ohtani without an Ichiro, and there will never be the next whatever without Ohtani.
Right.
So if Ichiro didn't come over here and absolutely dominate for 10 years in the big leagues, Ohtani never would have came over here.
Actually, Nomo started it, but you're totally right. But Nomo it's kind of broke in.
That kind of stuff. Ichiro is was a different dude, and he was full of shit too because he can speak perfect English. Perfect English, and he never did because he didn't want it to be something that they can say, "Oh, you said such and
serious?
such." All the time.
He always used a translator.
Salute to him being an asshole. You say you're an asshole. I think he really pulled it off. Fuck you mean?
100%. Because you got the guy Morinaki from the Blue Jays. We call them Mr. Smiley over in Japan, but the guy that always says monkeys never cramp. That's why he always eats bananas. That dude is the funniest dude in the world. Great teammate, great player. Should not have come over here because he was not good enough to be in the big leagues. But he played actually for a little bit of time in the big leagues because he was a great defender. But that dude, guys like that, is the reason why Ichiro and Ohtani should have come over here, because you have guys that probably are not going to be an all-star ever, but big fish in a small pond over in Japan, and you can test yourself really damn quick when you come over and you go against some of the best, rather than just the best in your country. But I think with Ichiro being mostly, average driven and hits driven, and mind you, if he was in any of these home run derbies, he probably could win them because he's that good. Because his batting practice was stupid.
Yeah, they said it was lights out.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, he would go and bloop it over the third baseman's head, bloop, 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 hit a bouncer in the 6 hole, and then when the Mariners were looking at him, they said, well, can you hit some power? And he goes up and just drills like 15.
But he'd go left field, right field. He'd work his first couple of times. He'd actually just try to hit it as deep as he possibly could. He was like Tony Gwynn, just for a new version of it. Because Tony would always try to hit the ball directly, almost behind his back foot, and see how good his hands were that day. During batting practice, his first round was, let me see how deep I can let this ball get, so that if I got fooled, how long can I wait to actually foul a pitch off?
Wow.
He tried to
swinging, damn.
Perpendicular with himself, and that was my guy. I read every single one of his books in high school. That was my mentality type of thing. Was listening. And
Jamie, you got to talk to Slavic. Slavic's been
Corey Slavic. Salute to Corey Slavic, man. Seriously, bro. Legend.
Corey's sending me all of his kids' videos, and I watch all of his videos all the damn time. So him,
you're gonna have to
him
get
and
Trey
Reapy.
Slavic on here.
Yeah, him and Reapy. I get all kinds of videos of both their kids, but
freak athlete, bro.
100%. Still
listen, freak athlete, bro. I'll tell you.
Do you guys think that the game is in a good spot today with the rule changes and all that?
I don't.
That's 2 head shakes, huh? Wow.
I think we've lost the game. I mean, I went to a spring training game this year, and it was great with my sister's kids because 3 kids under 10. The game was only 2.5 hours long. They were able to run the bases afterwards. We never would have been able to stay the entire time if it wasn't for that pitch clock. But there's a point where you need to umpires, GMs, whatever. They just need to get off of everybody else's coattails and just let the game be, rather than trying to make a stamp on today's game. Because
you got a couple factors. One is you got the clock. I'm actually less concerned about the clock because I think, especially between innings, okay, you want to keep it moving a little bit, fine, okay. Things when they're starting to change the size of the bases, that's just ridiculous. You've got pizza boxes now because they want to get an extra couple stolen bases or a couple extra infield singles. Like, you want a pizza, go to Pizza Hut. We don't need it on the field. Don't mess with the game.
But if you take away, let's say, okay, for me, who just loves the game of baseball, you guys love the game of baseball. No changes, it's totally fine. You're gonna love it the same. Did you guys see that it was kind of declining with the younger generations and stuff like that? It's almost like you had to make some sort of evolution.
But you don't have to. That's a instant gratification type of culture.
All right, well, welcome to America.
But that's not what baseball is. The nuances,
I agree.
and the actual mind games and everything else that's behind it, that's what true baseball is. And if you can't accept that, then
that's how I always compare baseball as the best sport, because all the other sports have, a clock. Like basketball, I can dribble for 20 seconds and then shoot with 4 seconds left. Football, I can run it up the middle and wait till my 2-minute warning and this and that. Baseball, you have to see the guy across from you. You cannot. There's no other way around it. You have to get him out. So whether it's 9-0, 1-0, you have to see that man regardless. You can't dance around and wait for the end of the game. So, I mean, I do understand that part of it. Like, baseball's different. You don't need it to be like all the other ones, but.
And I'm less on the actual rules. So what I don't like about it is you can't throw over more than twice, because then you're letting somebody just get off the hook. You're not able to hold the ball.
That's wild. So those runners, they know they get a free opportunity to take off. That is wild to me.
That being said, Ricky Henderson's record will never be broken. It doesn't matter if you let everybody just steal every freaking time and no one is able to throw down. It will not matter. He will never.
Not even close.
But the thing is, you're not even seeing stolen bases being rewarded anymore. Like, it's not a part of the game because everybody's just waiting for the 3-run jack on this launch angle. I think, to me, it's boring baseball to watch. Strikeout.
Can I show you guys a video really quick of this Ellie De La Cruz guy that everyone's kind of talking about stolen bases? It's just pretty wild.
Yeah, second.
Skip late. He takes off again. Pitch down and in. Fade. De La Cruz goes. Pitch called a strike. Throw down on a skip late. He takes off again. Pitch down and in. Fade throw. There's no chance. Well, 2 steals.
De La Cruz had already looked a couple of times at Brian Anderson, knowing that if he got a jump,
he's going home. The throw. He's still home.
That's some cool shit to me.
You brought that up because that's exciting, and we've completely. Other than that, it's a rarity. But that's baseball.
True, very true.
You don't like it, Jamie?
No, I hate that shit.
You hate stolen bases?
No, I just
sitting here talking to my dad.
I'm old as shit. Okay, I'm old school. I don't like all the histrionics, the bat flips, the pimp jobs, and all that kind of crap. I think it's the dumbest crap.
The pimp jobs. I'm taking that shit.
That's what they call it. When you strolling in on a homer and you dance on the way down, or like the Euro step from
I don't like that
Chaz.
Shit. But now he is a special player. I totally get it. But if you really watch that video, when it comes down to the catcher on one knee at all times.
Oh, it's the defense, 1,000%. They fucked that off.
But you got to take advantage of that.
That didn't happen.
The pitcher just does not even care that he's on third.
But you're not throwing somebody out from your knees.
Yeah, but Jamie, you have to take advantage of that. And to me, what I don't like seeing is they're doing that all the time and nobody's stealing. I just saw Wake in the Super Regional. We all watched them in the College World Series. There's all these opportunities to take bags and nobody takes them anymore because they just sit around and wait for the 3-run homer.
The Angels, the Angels were always the best in the minor leagues, always trying to push the envelope and trying to get that extra base. Because the more pressure you put on your defense, the more mistakes happen, the more runs are scored, the more opportunities you create.
They just say put the ball in play. Put the ball in play.
But
let them do what.
It is not about
baseball.
that.
So up there, we're watching the home run derby, which is amazing. And that's fun to watch, but that's not baseball. That's just the home run derby.
No.
Baseball is finding a way to get in scoring position so somebody can drive you in. It's finding a way to score. And so, going back to the rule changes a little bit, the rule change that I'm bothered the most by is not the clock. It's not even the pizza boxes on first, second, and third. It's that you can't put the shift on anymore. To me, the shift is ridiculous. Like, if somebody wants to put a shift on, and you have a big leaguer that has too much pride to lay down a bunt half the time and hit 500 until they stop the shift.
I agree.
Why didn't you be able to do that? Like
you should get better and hit it the other way.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. Like they're giving it to you for free. I don't know how you don't get better and take that.
They're not getting paid to do that. That's the difference.
I don't care. Nobody's hit 400
but that's today's game.
The guy made it there because he just killed it to right field every single time. So, he made it there because of that.
It's tough to tell somebody when they're making $10, $20, $30 million a year hey, you need to lay down a bunt. No, I don't. Yeah. And that's today's game. The other part is that you don't have true baseball anymore. To me, baseball has turned into basketball right now when it's a, one-man ISO. And basketball has turned into superstar on superstar, and that's it.
You're
baseball
right. You're
has turned
right.
Into
100%.
Your big dude hitting as many home runs as possible, and everybody trying to hit home runs instead of somebody hitting behind a runner, hitting and running. Giving up an at bat to move somebody into scoring position, then hitting a sac fly. You don't see that.
Vegas. I'm going to interrupt Jamie. Vegas, give Jamie a shout right there. He's a big man. He was the big man who's hitting the ball out of the yard, and he's giving compliments to the guys that were setting up.
Let's go.
And okay, so here's the reason why.
Let's go.
You look at the home run record got beaten this year, and he didn't come close to my RBI record.
That's right.
That's just swinging for the fences at every at bat. Yeah,
you had to have the guys in front of you on second and third.
But that's the thing.
Your 3-run jack, not a solo shot.
And it's not even the home runs. I mean, you look at most of these guys. What's more productive? 30 home runs and 80 RBIs, or 10 home runs and 120 RBIs.
1,000% a second. Without a
but
doubt.
who's going to get paid more?
All the bombs.
Yep.
100%. Yep.
No, I mean, that 120 RBI guy is getting paid pretty fat too.
Well, I mean, yeah, but he's not going to get paid like someone that's hitting 30 and 40 because
you're right. He's not going to. He's not going to be the cover guy and all that.
It's the old Braves commercial with all the Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddox up there saying, chicks dig the long ball and home runs are sexy.
There's some cool stuff though in the superstar versus superstar, like the WBC ended with Shohei versus Trout. Like that's good. 100%. That's great TV. That's 100%. Super good TV, I think.
Oh, hey, it's not to say that's not great TV. That is, and there's great things in the game. It's just saying, hey, let's bring the whole package to the game back, so that there's more to it, right? It's like football. If it's just waiting for a 60-yard Hail Mary, that's awesome. But we also want to see, the guy who runs and squeezes it out an extra 3 yards. The interception on the goal line. You got to bring the whole game here. You got to see defense. You got to see special teams. Bring it all, And I mean, I'll tell you, I've watched a lot of Wake Forest football over the years, and I'll give my old roommate a shout. My absolute most exciting time watching any Wake Forest football ever was when, back then it was Nez, Vegas there, taking a guy deep, near the goal line, taking him down with a shoestring tackle. That's not just a 60-yard Hail Mary. That's an athlete being an athlete. And so that's what we want to see in the game.
Salute to me, goddamn.
I totally understand. Do you think that it was sustainable if they didn't make any changes? I mean, I would say
that's the question, though. You both smirked the same way, right? You both did the same smirk, and I'm saying they had to do something at some point to bring more cachet to it.
I think it would have been sustainable because it's one of the power major sports here in the United States. It would have still been around, but I don't know. I feel like it for the younger crowd, this new generation of people that are coming in, they need
It's instant.
And that's the problem,
right?
But now you can have a shorter game with more runs. I mean, I don't know how. Seemed like
tell
the right
me what
answer.
you guys think from your perspective.
I think when it's $120 for a family of 4 to go to a damn game or more, that's where minor league ball is so much better. You go to a minor league park, you pay $5, you can sit wherever the fuck you want. And in big leagues, it's $150 to sit anywhere near the damn field. You have no access to the guys, which is fine.
Our local AAA team has we have a radio station, 102.9. The tickets are $10.29.
The Aces, we have the Reno Aces here. So look at the Reno goddamn Aces, man. We love you, man.
Hey, Diamondbacks affiliate right there too.
That's the AAA for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So
and that's great baseball.
And it is. And you can see a lot of guys that are on rehab or just got sent down or the next star that's going to go up. And you can sit 20 feet from them. And they'll sign everything. I'd rather go to a minor league ball game than go to a big league game any day of the week, because especially right now with as many camera angles that are on the big league like stage, you can watch it at your home, at a bar, buddy's house, whatever, and get a lot better perspective than going to an actual game now. Because again,
you're going to see the game played right too, because every guy on that field is trying to play in the bigs, and they've got to perform and they got to go out. And I'm not saying in the big leagues everybody's got to protect their job and get paid, but you're going to see
right when you got a
at the big league
13-year contract.
Yeah, back to your question though about did they have to do it? And I'm a purist. I know Jamie's a purist. I don't like it. I don't like these changes. At the same time, you're right. And I think with where our society is, with social media, with where people spend their time, I think it's the right decision for the commercial aspect of the game. And bringing new fans in, yes, it's the right call. It doesn't mean I'm ever going to agree with it. I'm always
of course.
About it. And
honestly, I think where I kind of draw the line, I'm good with all the kind of changes, but I think the big thing that would really upset me is if they make robo umps. You take the ump out of the game, and they talked about that for a decade now. Like they talked about that for a long time, and now they're even trying it in lower ball things. That would irritate me as a fan big time if they made that switch.
They have a 6-game series. The first 3 games is robo. The next 3 games is on the umpire, and it is the regular fan will never know because it happens so damn quick that you don't know. And there are plenty of us that wish that we had that opportunity to hit your top of your head and say, no, I want to run that back because this dude doesn't know what he's talking about. Because some of these umpires back then were getting $100 for a series. Like, they're just like the minor league guys that that's not their regular job. That's their summer job.
Well, you got to play your umpire too. Like, when there's a blowout going on and, you're down 10 runs, you're up 10 runs, that umpire wants to get out of there. So you got 2 strikes on you. You better be straight, right? And a robo up, hey, you might get a fair chance. But knowing that is a part of the game, and it always has been. And I think it should remain a part of the game.
Yeah, I absolutely hope it does. I hope they never make that change. Can you guys answer this question? I've always wondered why do they allow college ball players to use metal bats, but the next step is wooden? Is it just cost?
Is that the number one question you guys get all the goddamn time?
Is that just cost? Like what? Because I'm sure you guys in college hit it goddamn hard enough to hurt somebody too. So I've never understood why.
It's not about liability. It's about, you want to talk about a boring ass game? Give a college team. Jesus Christ.
All right, fair. Well, then why not give the major leaguer a metal bat?
Huh, you want to talk about killing somebody?
I thought it wasn't about liability.
No, but I mean, there's a kid for Oregon, I think it was. He uses a wood bat in college, and you're allowed to use wood bats if you want in college.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
It's a disadvantage, right?
Yeah, but if you can show off the entire year and play with a wood bat, no one's going to say, well, is he going to project to that next level with a wood bat?
Yeah. There's no questioning at that point, for sure.
It's a calculated risk saying, okay, I want to play at the next level. I'm going to show right now that I can do it. Now, at the same time, if I was his teammate, I'd be pissed the entire time. Absolutely. Because you're trying to make yourself look better, but on the flip side, I don't give a shit how you look. If it doesn't help us win,
and you're batting in front of them,
go somewhere else.
Facts.
And that's why the Cape Cod League and Alaska and all these summer leagues are so important for guys and how they're going to do in the draft is they can demonstrate they can hit with wood, and a lot of guys can't, And so I think it's that. But I think it's probably economical. I think it's economical too. I mean, just the bats that have to go through a college team, but I think it is also, to Jamie's point, I think it's something that's different. Even in the Cape Cod League, which are your best players in the country, other than maybe your national team players and best college players. The first month of the season up there, nobody's hitting. The first month, and then people start to click and they start getting it going.
Right.
I mean, not hitting like they do with metal bats. So there's always an adjustment. But I think it's kind of cool that college is different, and then people kind of have that transition and that shift. So once again, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna transition a little bit. I'm guessing for you, Nick, I'm gonna just go on a whim and say you're a Giants fan.
Actually, I'm not. I grew up a Dodger fan. So
But you got the Joe Montana on the wall.
Oh yeah.
So you're a Niners Dodgers fan?
I'm a Chiefs fan, but I grew up a Niner Dodger fan, and Montana went to KC. I followed him, and so since '93, I've been a Chiefs fan. So
Okay, so since you said Dodgers, I'm gonna move on to Jamie. What's your
Hold on,
favorite team, Jamie?
So, and it's funny because I grew up a Niners fan as well, but my reason is because my dad coached Steve Young in high school.
Ooh, that's tight.
Whoa. Stop it.
Name drop.
Big applause.
Okay.
Cut it out.
We were Giants.
Don't just leave us at that goddamn story. Say something, man.
Well, yeah.
Don't leave us there.
In Connecticut, being a Niners fan, that's quite the distance.
I was very lucky that my dad actually took Steve from a defensive back and put him behind the center and actually made him into quarterback. Gave him number 8. That was his first time he ever wore number 8.
Jesus Christ! Here on the Dank Dads.
What are you talking about?
Here on the Dank Dads,
Did you
we're dropping
really just
fucking
say that?
epic news.
What?
That Jamie's dad is the reason why Steve Young is quarterback
What's
today.
going on? You just getting a blowjob down here? We don't know it. Like what else? What else is happening around your house, my friend?
This is monumental.
I don't know. You just nonchalantly doing shit.
This is Connecticut, ready? So his mom was actually a substitute teacher at my parents' school, and then John Smoltz's aunt was also a substitute teacher. So when John came to Wake a couple years ago, I had a conversation with him about it because I knew both of their family members. But yeah, we were invited to Steve's wedding. Like, we go way back.
Well, shout out to your dad because he gave me the last Super Bowl I've ever seen from the Niners.
This is true.
It's been a minute, so
salute to the OG.
Like
salute to the OG. We appreciate him.
Well, shit. All right. Well, give me. I need you guys' top 5 players of all time. Now, this question for me is, the top 5 is subjective, especially in baseball. Geez, like it's very tough. So I answer this on my favorite. Like, who is your favorite 5? Not necessarily all time, but favorite 5.
So we're going off.
And I need you to, and it doesn't have to be in any order, but I need you to single out your number 1 at least. Single out the number 1.
All-time favorite player. I'm not saying he'd be my first pick if I'm putting a team together. My number 1 all-time favorite player is Ricky Henderson.
Ricky.
Ooh, salute to Ricky.
Yeah, he was an amazing player. I love watching him steal bags, and I grew up in the Bay Area, and so that was about as exciting as it got in the early 90s with Ricky swiping bags. And Jamie already mentioned him, but those are records that, at least the way the game's played now, nobody's going to touch. And he stole
Never.
Guy right there.
Yep.
Did you model your game after him the best you could?
I did the best I could.
Yes, he did.
You stole a shit ton of bases at Wake Forest. You stole a shit ton of bases at Wake Forest.
That was his thing, boy.
Your name's up on the wall there, so I mean, you did a damn good job.
Go for it.
What you got, Jamie?
Nick? What are some other guys that stick out to you? You don't have to necessarily give me a top 5, but just a couple other all-time guys you like.
I mean, you gotta point to a guy like Barry Bonds. I mean, yes, obviously there's later.
You see the jersey in the back? See the jersey in the back?
I don't even know how I let him pull that shit off, but
he was in the house when I put that thing up there.
Just for today.
You know, Barry.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to remember about Barry, there's a lot of talk because of the juice era and all that stuff. At the end of the day, Barry Bonds was the best player in the game before that. So, yes, he became a mega superstar after, but he was the best player in the game leading up to that. So, I'd say Barry. Love watching the other kid, Ken Griffey Jr. play. Stylish. Nobody ever had a more beautiful swing, I think, than Griffey. Then, of course, I grew up on the stories of Ted Williams and Willie Mays. Not old enough to see them play, but certainly, I've seen the highlights, and there's another level and a lower there.
Do you think though that
what's that?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My last thing I would just say is I got to give some shouts for the middle infielders. Ozzie Smith, most phenomenal shortstop of all time. If you guys haven't seen it, anybody in there hasn't seen it,
Backflip.
find the backflip 100%. But he made a play up the middle. You know, obviously Willie Mays is most famous for the play in deep center field over his shoulder. Unbelievable. World Series, can't take anything away from him. Pure athleticism. Ozzie Smith makes a play up the middle. I think it was against San Diego, if I remember, but I could be wrong. Dives up the middle. The ball takes a bad hop, and he reaches up, bare hand, catches the ball, flips over, throws a dude out of it. That's the most unbelievable play I've ever seen at any level. And Jamie and I got to play with Slavic, so that's saying something.
Corey Slavic's monster.
100%.
I took infield with Ozzie Smith in old Yankee Stadium.
Oh.
Here we go again. With your bullshit. Listen, what's happening? Who are you John Travolta?
My godfather.
What the hell is going on?
Baseball has been very good to me. No, for the Futures game in 2008, he came out and he took infield with us, and I was playing first at that time. He took infield at shortstop, and I was hoping to God that he came out and did a flip, but he didn't. But he still took freaking infield with us, and I got to catch a ball from Ozzie Smith. Like,
How smooth?
Oh, he was 100 years old, and he was better than everybody else on the field.
Jeez,
Like,
can we give him a little? Let's give him a salute to Ozzie Smith.
It was
Lord.
crazy.
Jamie, before you go with your guys, the other guy, and I know there's a little fall from grace these days with him, but Omar Vizquel, incredibly smooth up the middle. I used to watch him in pregame. I'd go anytime they came and played it when it was with the Indians, played the A's, and he would take balls. Ground balls would come. He was just getting bored, so the ball would come. He'd kick it up to his throwing hand and throw. Other thing he would do. He would take balls and he would throw them with his eyes closed and get guys in the chest first, second, and third. Unbelievable athlete. Incredible.
What's your top, Jamie?
Chipper Jones, probably number one overall.
Wow.
Like, and I got to play against him and meet him my last year in pro ball, and he wasn't even taking batting practice. He was just screwing around, hanging out, and just because he was one of the older guys and he didn't need to. And his dad actually coached at Stetson. So when I went to Stetson before I went to Wake, I met his dad. And that was like their recruiting tool. Like, look at all the freaking deer and fish on the wall because Chipper Jones's dad comes here. You should, come here. But Chipper by far, just because, I mean, offense, defense, both sides of the plate, average, power. I mean, you name it, he can do it all. Ken Griffey Jr., other than that backwards hat thing, because that got me in way too much trouble with my father. Every time he turned the hat around, he would beat the shit out of me.
Same.
But
if I had the backwards hat on, I got the back-handed.
Oh,
damn.
Hey, real quick, I don't want to cut you off, Jamie. But
Black man done fucked y'all lives up.
Vladimir Guerrero wins the 2023 home run derby. I feel like it was only a matter of time before he took that one home. Anyways, that's
grown man.
Hey,
but go on. Go ahead.
One thing people forget about how amazing his father was. Best bat ball hitter of all time. The dude hit a bomb off a ball that bounced. You're talking a 90-something mile an hour pitch, bounced, and he takes that thing and takes it deep. I mean, it's like he was playing cricket. Amazing athlete.
He really was.
Yep.
And I mean, like I said before, I think Tony Gwynn was one of the best out there. And I grew up a Mets fan pretty much, and then a Red Sox fan just because every single time that we went anywhere, Mo Vaughn was from Norwalk, Connecticut. So every single stadium, or every single place that I've ever played when I was in high school was Mo Vaughn hit that house 2.5 miles away. And to be able to get all of our Little League and Babe Ruth and whatever, regional or whatever state championships always on, in Boston at Fenway, and seeing that mecca of baseball history, that made me a Red Sox fan for a while. But I mean, growing up being a Mets fan, I had every single Greg Jeffries card and, biggest, greeny dude and speedball out there. But
Love it.
It's a lot of pain recently for the Mets, though.
Well,
Damn.
and the Doc and Daryl era, Gary Carter, Howard Johnson, Mookie. I mean, you had that was my era, and then I was fortunate enough to actually get coached by Wally Backman, who was their second baseman during the 86 run, and he's a different dude as well, and love that guy. But I think there's more guys that I respect now that I played with. Nelson Cruz will always be one of my favorites. Played against him, played with him for so damn long. And
yeah, dude, that guy's a journeyman for sure.
Just a stand-up dude as well. He's won the Roberto Clemente Award a couple of different times. He does a lot of good things for his community. Just a great guy. And just, I mean, I know he got DFA'd last week, but
yeah, shit,
he's special.
He's
really
done
special.
his time. He's done his
I saw
time.
him play last week against San Diego.
Yeah, he's special. But I mean, and then watching some of the guys that I played against, between the Giants, Lincecum, or if with
let Timmy
Dodgers
smoke.
playing against.
He used to get so much heat for smoking weed.
Oh,
and they have shirts. Let Timmy
Poor
smoke.
fella.
Him and Sergio. Wow, the
Bring
two
him
of them
bring
together.
him on Dank Dads.
Wow.
Oh,
I
that's
got a
fucking
story
cool.
about Lincecum real quick. My best friend from high school, and all my friends from high school were Giants fans, so I was mutually hated by everybody as a Dodger fan.
Yeah, terrible decision on your part, Nick.
I have another story for you in a minute. But so my best friend from high school, Robin Gill, he's out at the bar after a Giants game, and he's got one of these Giants hats on, and he's got a Lincecum jersey, and he's got the hat that actually had Lincecum's hair. So it looked like Lincecum's hair coming out the back. And he wore this out. He was at the game. He wore it just as a joke. And he goes out to the bar afterwards, and he's wearing the same full-on outfit, okay? And this girl comes up to him and is convinced it's Lincecum. He's like, no, I'm not Timmy, And the girl's like, no, we know you are. And she wants to take a picture with him. So she takes a picture with him. And he's got the Lincecum, hat, hair, jersey on. Couple years later, we're talking like 3 or 4 years later, a buddy of his is on Tinder, and there's this girl with her arm around Tim Lincecum. It's not Lincecum, it's my boy.
No way.
Hilarious.
No way.
So awesome.
Hilarious.
Without a doubt, Barry Bonds is my favorite of all time. Huge dickhead, but I mean, I'm okay with that. You don't have to be nice on your 9 to 5, whatever. Like,
Yeah,
you can
but-
be you. That's fine. And
Great teammate, bad to the press, but great teammate.
yes. And earlier on the show,
Oh,
I had my
shit.
brother on. My brother's asking
more
Barry
important.
for an autograph at 13 years old, and Barry flips him the bird. Just like, but whatever. That doesn't matter to me. But like, I remember being probably 10, 11 years old. My parents would go to opening day for the Giants every single year. I was lucky enough. So yeah, probably 10 years old. Just now starting to love the game of baseball. And Barry hits a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 10th. And then just the entire stadium is just chanting his name. And I'm 10 years old, like, holy shit, this guy is God. Like, I love this guy. And then the very next year, another opening day, and he gets called out. He gets thrown out arguing balls and strikes in like the 8th inning. And again, everyone on their feet chanting his name. I'm like, damn, this guy. I'm getting chills just like thinking about it. Like, that's what made me love the game. And when you're talking about 7 MVPs versus the next closest, A-Rod has 3. Bro, it's not even fucking close. And I think that if you just,
Are you from the Bay?
no, my entire family is South San Francisco. I'm the only one born in Reno. So Niners, Giants, all that, definitely. Big into, I mean, I was in San Francisco damn near every other weekend in the summertime. So
Salute for you putting Reno on the map and podcast.
That's
You know
what
what I'm
I'm
saying?
trying to do.
We are the goddamn Dank Dads. Please subscribe, YouTube, Rumble. This has been the most amazing show ever. Listen, I don't know, Nick. Where do we go from here? Are we going to go ahead and trade them up, or what are we going to do? You ready? I got one. If you got one,
I've got several. I mean, how deep you want to go?
Okay, let's go.
I don't know. He told me one was pretty deep that we cannot say here on the Dank Dads.
Nah, that's definitely not gonna rock. But listen, hit it. Go for it.
No, you lead it off. I want to.
Boys, before you start, I'm out. It is not West Coast time over here, and I got to get my ass fucking bed.
Hey, look,
We
listen,
appreciate
Jamie,
you,
we
bro.
love you, baby.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Please don't be a stranger. You a Dank Dad now, brother. Love you,
Thanks for
man.
hopping on, bro. Appreciate
Thank you so much.
See ya.
This is the best.
Hey, thanks for
It
bringing
is not West Coast time.
So listen, I'll start mildly. We're in our dorm room one night, and it's probably about 10 o'clock.
This is exactly how you started off that other story.
That's okay. Yeah, you're right. We're in our dorm room one night, and it's about 10 o'clock, and we just up talking shit. And this is like a weekday. And we talking about basketball, and I'm like, listen, bro, get the fuck out of here, bro. You can't beat me no goddamn basketball, man. Listen, white boy, okay? I don't know if you think, yeah, have you seen me? Have you seen this? Get the fuck out of here. You can't beat me no basketball, dog. And so Nick is like, do you play basketball? I said, I don't give a fuck what you talking about, bro. You ain't beat me no goddamn basketball. He was like, well, let's go. He was like, well, let's go. I said, what? You want? Fuck it, let's go. We throw our shit on, and we walk down to the gym. Okay. First of all, Wake Forest athletes, we can get into anywhere. It's like a little Pandora's world, right? So we get in the gym. It's just me and him, and we hooping. And dog, I'm like, holy shit, this is getting a little. Why is this not happening? His defense, impeccable. He's everywhere. Dog, listen, this motherfucker blocked one of my shots. I wanted to punch him in the face and break his fucking neck. I've never been so mad in my life. And then I realized, I was like, yo, these baseball dudes are freak athletes, bro. And my respect level was, through the roof, because, when you come from certain environments where you're only playing with black folks, bro, you feel like we superior to everybody, right? Wake Forest is my place. Bia Billick and I got into an argument one time. Remember Bia? And she was like, bring your ass out here on this tennis court and see what's popping. Listen, she did. And she whooped my ass like you've never seen. I said, okay, I understand. And that was like my first, you
give Vegas a little credit here. We're talking about Vegas saying he's gonna be the best women's tennis player in the country. She went on to play professionally. She played at Wimbledon, US Open, all that. But I appreciate you giving it a shot. And the other shot I want to give is, this is why we love Vegas. He's remembering a story from 20 years ago, coming out there. And I know it was new for him because he watched too much of White Man Can't Jump. But, for him to bring up that story and just, bring it back and make me feel better about my game, I appreciate it.
Yeah, but he beat me like 3 games in a row. I didn't listen. It wasn't like we just played one game and went home. No. We were tired, dog. We were tired, bro. Remember that shit? We were fucking whooped.
Oh, I remember.
And I was like, I said, salute to you, bro.
That was good times. That was good times. But okay, well, you got a good story there. I'll bring up one that's going to push the envelope a little bit more if we're in a safe spot.
Please do.
I'm ready. Go for it.
Okay, so this had to have been the off season for me probably, but Vegas and I are out with B-Ray. We know B-Ray. We love B-Ray. We're out, and we went out, had a few margaritas, and maybe we had a couple extra margaritas. And we went out, and there's a little bar, little drinking hole we used to call Freddie Bourgeoisie's or Freddie B's.
Freddie B.
We came to Freddie B's, and it was a closed frat party. Okay, and but Vegas and B-Ray had a bunch of boys that were a part of this this frat, and like he said, we had the key to the castle. We got in no problem. And my girlfriend at the time and one of her girlfriends were in there too. I don't know what they were doing in there. Dang, I didn't think about that till now. Damn it.
I forgot about this.
And so, we're there and we get in, we're having a good time and we're just mellow. We're not there to cause any trouble. We're just there to have a good time. But I go up and I'm having a drink, talking to my girlfriend and her girlfriend at the time, and everything's going fine. And then one of these frat boys, he starts to spit on me. And I was in a friendly mood, and so first things first, I walked up and I just asked, hey, I'm Nick Blue. I don't think we've met. I introduced myself, just trying to kind of keep the peace. I really don't want any issues. But it happens again. And this time, I just kind of let it go. And then it happened a third time. And now Vegas is walking away. He must be closing the door for the children.
Yes, he was closing the door for the children.
Listen.
Are you closing the door so the children don't hear this story?
No. I want to make sure that people can see my face when I explain what the fuck had just happened. Because now I really remember. It was a couple times, but I do remember this night. And I'm sitting with Jets Pro Bowl, maybe 12-year veteran Calvin Pace.
Yep.
I'm sitting here, and Calvin is sitting here, and so all of a sudden Calvin says, "Hey."
No, don't get there yet. Don't get there.
Okay,
yet.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So this happens, and it's the third time this guy spits on me. And so I hand over my drink, and I never was a big fighter, big guy, but I am a little bit feisty, as Vegas knows. And so I'm giving this guy 2 chances to try and make peace. But the third time he spits on me, I was done. So I hand over my drink to the ladies, and I walk up, and I drill him in the face, and I proceed to pop him a couple times. And then his boy jumps in, I pop him too. And so I've got 2 guys that I'm going after. But then suddenly, we're at a frat party. Suddenly, I'm surrounded by about 15 dudes. And there's beer flying. And all I see are guys, and they're just punching on my top of my head. I don't know why nobody grabbed my legs, but nobody did. And they're just going wild, and I've got nothing. I'm just hitting everything I can as far as I can see, which is not very far. And I just know I'm done, okay? I know I might have a shot or 2. I'm about to get my ass kicked. I'm about to break some. I'm about to be done, KO, out of commission. Next thing I know, now, Nez, you come in next. I'll follow up.
No, like I said, I was sitting there and Calvin Pace says, hey, I think that's your roommate over there fighting like 26 dudes, man. That's not your roommate? I turned around and I was sitting in the bench because they had picnic benches out in this little area, right? And I turned around and I said, what's this motherfucker? What is Listen, I just started chucking humans. I just started chucking people. Woof.
So from my perspective, we don't know. I don't know he's chucking humans yet. From my perspective, I just know I'm swinging. I'm trying to survive, and suddenly I'm going like this in circles, and I see stars. It's the most beautiful sight in the world.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Everything is.
You better believe it. I'm not fucking around.
It's like Mike Tyson showed up, and you bottled him up with Rambo. And suddenly, what had happened, and I didn't know this till later, one of my guys told me, Vegas jumped up on the picnic table. And this is before he wore glasses, okay? Before he wore glasses. And he couldn't tell at first. But once he saw it was me in there, he starts running down the picnic tables, full speed, arms out like this, and takes out 12 dudes, okay?
I was John Wick, way before John Wick. I was John Wick. Fuck out of here, I was John Wick.
John Wick is
goddamn games.
John Wick is based on Vegas. And
listen, it was like my child was in a fight. It was like my little kid was in a fight, bro. I was like, what the fuck? And so these guys, once they realized, because I knew a lot of these dudes, you know what I'm saying? I knew a lot of them. And once they realized it was me, it was, I didn't want to fuck them up because, you know what I'm saying? I knew a whole bunch of them, but at the same time, I was like, you done fucked up. You have, this is my kid here. Wait a minute. And then here's the funny part. The original dude was kind of stuck by himself right there. And then Nick Blue tagged him about 2. Big. I said, there it is. Okay, enough is enough. Let's go home, buddy. Let's go head on home.
Hey, big shout to Vegas on that. That lion on the background there, that's loyalty. He was willing to sacrifice everything. We both could have lost our scholarships. We both could have been kicked out of school for that. But he showed up and he took care of me when I was in need, and I always respect that. So much love, appreciate it.
I always told him. I always told Nick. I said, don't worry about shit. So I would go to football practice, And like I said, I had all the money at Benson dollars. I had unlimited Pitt dollars, but I had $3,500 in Benson per semester, right? So I would go around to all the workers that worked at Wake Forest, and he'll tell you, I had all these people in my pocket. Well, I would bless them with something here and there. It didn't fucking matter. I was always blessing them, right? So when he come through, they know that shit was my card. I be at football practice. This motherfucker got a full meal sitting there waiting for me. When I walk in, he just hand the bitch to me, and I go eat my food. Fuck what you heard. I had a system.
Always. I ate for free.
But I made sure he ate very well, and he ate very well. You did.
He's
I love him.
He's doing it to this day. I'm eating now because of him too. So
hey, listen, we going all the way to the top, and I don't know. I'm very thankful for this podcast. I tell you what, bro, this was.
Yeah, he doesn't know shit about baseball. I got the baseball side for him.
Listen, I have learned. I think you guys gave a lot of information tonight.
Perfect.
I think this was the most perfect podcast that we have done just yet. And I just want to say salute. Nick Blue, you got anything else you want to add, brother?
Hey, I really appreciate you guys, putting me and my boy D'Antona on here. It was a lot of fun. Always great to hang with you guys. Jeff, it's great to meet you here. I follow your podcast and I share it to anybody that'll listen. And they always enjoy it and throw it back. But Vegas, more than anything, man, always great to hang. I miss you. Come on down to AZ or SoCal.
Oh, it's going to happen. Hey, hang in the queue for a second there, Nick. When we're starting off, we are the goddamn Dank Dads.
Catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the above. We are out. Peace. Yeah.